Welcome back to Straight Facts, a New Year's Eve special for you all. Pretty much the whole gang is here. LB can't join us today. I didn't actually ask why. I'm sure he's got plans. It's New Year's Eve. Husam is joining us very, very soon. But we've got Lawless here. Nobbins has stepped in for LB. We've got Judge Mo, Dan Potts, Man Like Don. Staffy is here with us. How are you, gentlemen?
Very well. Could be better, man. Could be better. You know what I'm saying? But I always have to look at these United fans and I remember that it could be worse for Chelsea right now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're good, man. We're good.
Yeah, I hear you, mate. Could be worse. Could be worse. You could have 20 league titles and 3 Champions Leagues. Could be worse. Yeah, you're right. I know. It's true. It's true. Now, look, obviously, a painful day yesterday for everybody. We're going to be delving into yesterday's games, looking ahead of the January transfer window with some interesting deals. Maybe Dani Olmo available for free, according to a number of outlets in Spain. Should Arsenal? Should United? Should City? Who should be looking at him and putting the biggest bids in? The same as for Kerkez at left back. Massive news that he could be leaving this January. Plus, we're going to be talking about the title race as well. Any questions for the panel? You know what to do. Get your comments in. We'll try and get to as many as we can. Of course, super chats and the member chats will prioritize the best we can do. But obviously, yesterday, I want to start with Man United. Yesterday, another poor result. 4 defeats on the bounce. Another game with no goals. Obviously, me and Staffy spoke about it last night on the match reaction show. So I want to throw it out to the panel. But I want to frame it a little bit. A lot of people today, there are United fans, the mainstream media are doing it, and a lot of rivals, even in our group chats. Ineos don't have a plan. Amorim's stupid for sticking to his system and he should change it. This isn't going to work. United are only going to go backwards. The floor is yours.
Ineos clearly have a plan in it, but it's just the timing of how you've done things has been a bit backwards, Terry. That's what it is. Like if you brought in Amorim in the summer, it would mean that you're not buying more profiles that don't suit what he's trying to do. Like what's happened with Amorim, you know what I'm saying? With Ten Hag. You know, if you brought in Amorim in the summer, I highly doubt you would have signed someone like Zirzkee, for example. You know what I'm saying? So even a De Ligt, I don't think you would have probably signed someone like that, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at it right now. Listen, they're trying to rectify these mistakes, but the biggest mistake they made was by keeping Ten Hag in the summer, because it's led to a domino effect of, you know, poor signings. It's led to, you know, a lack of cohesion in the team, lack of chemistry. You know, a lot of players not wanting to be at the club. Clearly, when they're playing, you can see they don't want to really be at United anymore. It's led to just more nonsense. You know what I'm trying to say? So, for me, I just kind of look at this season and think, you know what? United need to just ride out the storm. Stay in the league, because that's the main thing. Get to 40 points, like what we did, like what we did that season when we finished 12th, bro. And then go again, man, and then just demolish the attack and start again. That's the main thing you can do. But Ineos, like I said, the biggest problem was keeping Ten Hag. That's led to so many other things after that, bro. That's the problem.
If you take Man United players and Amorim, take the shirts off, they play at the Emirates today or they play at Anfield, I think they would do better than 14. I think it will be top 6. I insist on this. The problem at Man United is not only the players and the managers done. It's the attitude. It's the mentality of the whole club. Listen, Terry has been doing shows for a while, and every time he speaks the Glazers, I think the damage that has been done at Man United in terms of the mentality and the way people think about the club is far bigger than a manager or a player. De Ligt is not a wash player. Mazraoui is not bad. Listen, Lisandro Martinez, people think he's bad now. He was at Ajax. He was a good player. And when he came to Man United, people were talking about the guy being one of the best defenders in the league in a back 4.
Yeah, imagine, but Mo, he ain't been the same though. He ain't been the same since that injury that he got, bro.
Exactly. And I think it's not only about the injury, Don. I think it's about the mentality of the club. Someone has to rip it off, completely tell these players, you play for Manchester United. This is one of the biggest clubs in the world, and you represent Manchester United. I'm telling you, when they lost to Bournemouth at home last season 3-0, and people are saying it's Ten Hag, and the players played the next game and there was no earthquake. I think results like this for any big club should have an earthquake effect on the club. Losing at home to a mid-table team at Old Trafford, one of the biggest stadiums in the world, should have an earthquake. Any of our clubs would think like this. The problem at Man United is that they actually got accustomed to mediocre. They got accustomed. And I'm not talking about the fans, because the fans still have standards. Staffy, Terry, all the others, the Saeed, and all the others that we do shows with. The problem is, I think the players get infected when they join the club. They accept mediocrity, bro. And I think it needs a manager. Listen, I thought that Amorim
Yeah.
had the person. I spoke about this with Terry yesterday on the show.
Yeah.
The personality of Amorim showed that he's the guy to steer the ship the right way. In that dressing room, tell these players you play for one of the biggest clubs in the world. Step on that pitch, knowing that you're the better team. And I said that yesterday, bro. Newcastle played like they're the bigger team. Newcastle. Imagine 3 years ago, you're fighting relegation.
Yeah, but Mo, I think you're being a little bit unfair though, because you have to deep it. When they brought in Amorim, the ship was already sinking, bro. The ship.
But that's what I mean. I thought Amorim would fix it.
Do you know what it is? But when you say you thought Amorim would fix it, I agree to you to a certain extent that I thought there'd be some better results than we have seen in this short-term period. However, every Man United fan who's always known what our true root cause problems were, it was never, and I always get shit from people, and I'm at a point where I ignore them now. Yes, Ten Hag had to go, and Ollie had to go, and Jose had to go. Yes, a number of players had to leave the football club. But at no point did anybody with a brain think that those individuals were the root cause problem at the club. And the only thing you said that I disagree with is they need to be told they're at Man United. I think that's part of the problem in the short term. Yes, we're Man United by history. Yes, we're Man United by name. But this idea, if these players don't have even if they were all running through brick walls, they don't have the ability to deliver right now, this group. They don't have the ability to deliver to the Man United name, as it were. Then and you always get this from fans. We all do this as fans at some point, sometimes a banter, sometimes in real life. Got to have standards. And I heard CB and Dave go at it last night, two Chelsea fans, because CB said, Dave, you don't have high standards because you didn't expect to beat Ipswich. And David said, no, I didn't. I said, I do expect us to win, but I recognize that we're still a work in progress and this could be a slippery fixture if things don't quite go our way. It's not having low standards to understand where you are in the moment. And I think that that's what's got to be balanced, is that it's going to take 2 to 3 years to get Man United anywhere near back to the standards. What we did to Zirzkee yesterday, I didn't like it. Now, again, Standard FC will say, that's what you meant to do. You're meant to boo players. You're meant to make them feel like that. For me personally, I don't see how that helps us in the short term. I just don't. I think you can have those standards, but there's a way of going about it. And look, I weren't in the ground. I wasn't experiencing that emotion in that time as an example. Some people have put it down to racism. And look, I would say that there's probably, definitely, because of the percentage chance, there's probably some racists in that stadium, the same as there are in every single one of our stadiums. At the same time, when Manu walked onto the pitch, those same people started cheering. So I don't necessarily think the main motivation is bigotry, but there certainly will be some of that in those circumstances. Zirzkee is becoming a scapegoat at the football club. I'm not one of them. I'm not going to jump on that. I'm not going to jump on it because there's 2 players missing from yesterday's game that have been the biggest scapegoats in the last few years, and that was no Bruno Fernandes and no Rashford. And we were not a miles better team without them. That doesn't mean, though, again, I don't want to have, this ain't one of those channels for it. I'm not stating we shouldn't look to improve on those players, but the idea that if you just take those 2 out in isolation, the team becomes better. This is the mentality that's got to change at the club. And someone tweeted me, the first thing I'm going to say on this, I'm going to throw it out to the rest of you guys. Someone said to me earlier on today, Terry, every time the Ineos make a mistake, it's the snowball effect is massive. And the things like this, Ineos is worst. First they gave the Glazers a lifeline, then they destroyed United. We use the snowball example. Man United's owners are not trying to stop a very small snowball rolling from the top of a mountain. It's now become an avalanche, and they're at the bottom trying to save everybody. So, of course, their mistakes are going to be magnified. And if you actually look at Arsenal, if you look at Chelsea, there's 2 cases and points. Even look at FSG when they first came in. They came in at a time where things were quite toxic at your clubs. And in the short term, it became more toxic because we as fans want instant gratification. Okay, a new owner or a new board member, new manager, a new project. Fuck me, why aren't we challenging for the title yet? We've all been through it. Everyone's raving about Villa at the moment. The same board that we're going, wow, look what they've done for Unai Emery and look where they're at. These same guys made a mistake by bringing in Gerrard, who nearly had them relegated. The thing I won't do is I'm not going to overjudge Ineos in the short term. I'm going to criticize their mistakes, but I am not going to remove the context for what's happened prior in the last 20 years. And that's probably my biggest bugbear. I'm watching Gary Neville talk about it, or the squad. This squad's worse than the one a few years ago under Ollie. Well, of course it is, because you pricks, sorry to be rude, never address the root cause problem. You just think new manager, spend a little bit of money, everything's going to be okay. It was never going to be. And the one group that are actually going about things differently, bringing in football decision makers. By the way, I had people in my DMs today. Terry, what your owner's going to do about the board making bad decisions? They already did something. They literally sacked the guy that made the decisions that we're criticizing. So I can't sit there and see things being done differently and throw baby out with the bathwater straight away. But what I have learned, and this has nothing to do with me because Man United fans are not a monolith, we're not all one of the same, is I would say 80% of this fan base, because they've never spent the time to look at what the real problems at the club were, they still think it's quite superficial things like sell Rashford, sack this manager. They ain't got the stomach, the guts, or the mental capacity for this rebuild. They are just going to be negative until it turns around. And I will say this, my final little bit on the whole Man United, the rest of it, you guys can talk. I ain't going to say shit no more. They will turn this club around, in my opinion. It's going to take time. There's going to be bumps in the road. I'm confident in it. I expected results like yesterday. Maybe I didn't expect to lose 4 on the bounce because I'm not Nostradamus and I can't tell the future exactly. But I expected these types of results while we strip the club back. And people keep saying we're stupid to bring in Amorim because we don't have a squad that suits his style of play. Do you know what's stupid and so surface level about that comment, in my opinion, is we don't have a squad built for any manager to come in and implement a style of play because we are a cocktail of 5 previous regime failures. Well, in fairness, most of Moyes' players have gone now. But you get my point. We are not built for anybody. What we're built for is the shut up shop, this be compact, this try and transition and counter-attack, and we do okay for a year or two until that starts getting pulled apart. This has to happen. We have to strip it back. I'm not happy with the results. I hate where we are. It's painful to watch. But this was always going to happen in one way, shape, or form after 20 years of malpractice and neglect. And for anybody to think this is on Ineos, I still think you can't see the wood for the trees, in my personal opinion. But I'm shutting up now. I'm handing it over to you guys. Sorry.
I mean, to be fair, it is on Ineos in a way. First of all, we addressed so many points, so I don't know what we're supposed to talk about. Is it Ineos? Is it the game? Is it Amorim?
Well, I want to talk. I mean, if we keep it back on point around, a lot of people are criticizing them, saying they should sell, saying that Amorim shouldn't. They've made a mistake bringing in Amorim. That's what I want to kind of address.
Okay, so I feel like everything is partially correct. So I do blame Ineos for something. I blame Ineos, as Don said earlier, for not bringing in a manager in the summer.
Agree.
So that stays valid. I mean, I understand that they got rid of Ashworth because he made a few mistakes, and they tried to rectify it as quick as in 4 months. But it still doesn't erase the fact that you made a mistake.
True.
Amorim himself wanted to come into the summer, but they were so desperate because they know they messed up by keeping Ten Hag, and they rushed to get him in. So Amorim right now came in and took over this job. I wouldn't say against his will, but it wasn't ideally what he wanted to do. If it was up to him, he wanted to come into the summer. But it was more of like, it's now or never because we're really sinking. So, of course, he was always going to take the job because it's a big job for him.
It was up to him. He would have gone to Liverpool. It's fine. All right.
But that was in the summer. But what does that have to do with what just happened? You just always have to insert something that is completely meaningless to the argument.
You just said that he would have gone in the summer.
Sounds
If
like
it was up to him,
You just said he
Liverpool.
would have liked to come in the summer. He wanted to join Liverpool. Liverpool just didn't take it.
Next summer. He didn't get approached by United this summer.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Talking about when they approached
To
him.
clarify it. I just wanted to clarify. It's fine.
I spoke English. I thought it was known. But anyway.
No, because he said he wanted to come in the summer, and I'm just not. He did it.
Anyways.
Go ahead.
See, you threw me on my train of thought right
Love
there.
you, man. It's fine. It's fine.
What was I going to
Cool.
say? See, well, not rude. Oh, yeah. Back to Amorim. So he took this job in an unideal situation. If it was up to him, he would have came in next summer, but they wanted to bring him in now. So this is on Ineos. Now, when you look at this squad, listen, I addressed this yesterday in the match reaction. I'm going to say it again because there's a bunch of rivals right here. And I know Don is going to sit here and say, well, I told you guys you overrate the squad. Let's be honest. Don, you didn't think this squad was 14th either. Like maybe at worst, I don't know what you said, but I'm assuming at worst you had United in the top 8. And that's a safe guess to say for everyone here on the panel. You probably had United somewhere in the top 8. So for United to be 14th, it means we're all wrong. So let's not do this thing where, oh, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. No one thought this. Now, I'm looking at Amorim and I'm listening to what he says after the game yesterday. He said, and I'm not gonna lie, it was very sad when he says that because he just looks at his depth already. He's saying this team is just not improving, and it's only been a month. For a manager not to be able to look at a team and say after a month he's like they're not improving, it debunks what you said earlier, Mo. And I just can't believe you said that because you said it yesterday on the match. Actually, you said it again. You said if you take the jerseys off this team and you put them in the Emirates or you put them in Anfield, they'll play better. That is actually crazy to me. That you think the difference between this team being good or bad is representing a different club and a different name. I don't think it's just that clear cut. I don't think it's one fix. Yes, there is pressure. Yes, there's a mentality issue. But as I said yesterday, and I'm going to say it again, if the manager's coming out and saying, oh, they're not improving, he sees the deficiencies that we all see. And you see it too, but I don't know why you're trying to ignore it. There's a clear deficiency in quality compared to the other teams that we play. I go into every game, and probably every match reaction after we lose, I say, hey, what would have happened today if we swapped this player with that player? What would have happened? We swapped Cunha for Bruno in that Wolves team, in that Wolves game. What would have happened if yesterday we swapped a couple players? If we swapped just two midfielders that we had with two of their midfielders, Bruno Guimaraes and Tonali, or Bruno Guimaraes and Joelinton, do we lose that game? And I say this every game. Bro, forget actually these two. These are the best players. Lewis Hall yesterday, Chelsea Academy product. He's better than anything we have in left wing back. And I'll be honest with you, he's probably one of their lesser players. Like when you look at Newcastle, where does Lewis Hall rank? He's not one of the best players. They have so many
yeah, he is. He has been this season.
But Don, okay, I know he's good. He's technically good, but because of how good their squad is, if you go ask any Liverpool fan right now, name me your top 5 players. They're gonna name 5 players before they name him. He comes in right now.
Newcastle. Bro, I spoke to a Newcastle fan earlier on, Pete, in the season. He said Lewis Hall's been their best player, bro.
Okay, fair enough. If that's what
he improved. He improved massively, Don, in the last 8-9 games.
But that proves my point anyways. I get what you're saying, but it still proves my point anyways. He comes in and he's better than anything that we had down the left yesterday. So this is what I'm saying. If I'm going into every game against better opposition, lesser opposition, there's about 2-3 players that I think will come in and start for this team and improve us. I cannot sit here and say what Mo said, which is, oh, it's just a mentality issue. It is an issue, but it's a clear lack of quality. And until we improve, until we give them specialists in these positions, this is why I come here and I always argue with Terry over Bruno and Cam and all these people because they want to sit here and want to shoehorn most of their favorite players in this team. I'm saying I don't care.
That's not true from my point. I've said I don't care about anyone staying at this football club. So
apologies, maybe not you, but Cam.
Staffy, can you clarify where did you have Man United finish?
I said we should be competing for the top 4.
Okay, so you proved my point that you believe that the quality of this team is to compete for top 4. They're 14th now, so it's definitely not a quality issue.
Because okay, Mo. So first of all,
it's literally my point, Staffy. The quality of this team is to be top 6.
There's a middle ground here.
I don't want to take it from the rest of the panel. I just wanted to make a point.
There is a middle ground, and there is a middle ground because yesterday there was a whole debate online about why didn't we keep Elanga? He's better than all of our attackers. 95% of the fan base wasn't saying that when he was here. All I've seen all season is clip after clip and comment after comment and news report after news report being shared of, oh my God, look how good Scott
McTominay, Terry.
When he about Man United shirt. You know, I saw an old video, right? And I'm not propping up Maguire here, from a man like Ricky from United Stand who says, we just sold Smalling. He's made Serie A Team of the Year and we're stuck here with Maguire. This has been going on at Man United for a long time. Players leave and do better elsewhere. The reason they struggle here, and Gary Neville's right broadly in what he said yesterday. He just got the players wrong because I don't think Maz, I don't think De Ligt, Lenny Euro hasn't played. I don't think Ugarte have been bad players for us this season, right? But there's a reason that everyone, and this is the thing I'd say, this is where I get where Staffy's coming from. Of course, we need to improve the technical level of our squad. At the same time, look at some of the players we've signed in the last 10 years, from Pogba to... what's his name? Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Di Maria. We signed a lot of good quality players, and we signed them. And most times when our rivals are being fair, they go, "That's a good player. Oh, he's decent. Oh, that's not a bad deal by Man United." Fast forward 2 years, and we're talking about them like they're Bebe. There's something. So for me, this is quality, mentality. There's a middle ground to this for me, and I don't think it's all mentality. But at the same time, I don't think it's just about buying better quality. It's about what Amorim is trying to install. It's about having a system that the players are right for, and not having 4 different groups of players from 3 or 4 different managers who are all suited to 3 or 4 different styles of play, and trying to put them all together and make it work. And that's why I that is the root cause. And I get your point. Ineos is to blame for their mistakes. However, we're now in 14th, and it's, if they hadn't have got the appointment wrong in the summer, we wouldn't be here. There is truth to that, but I still think it's surface level, because if there hadn't been 11 years of malpractice prior, that one mistake wouldn't have left us in 14th. And what I don't think we should do as Man United fans is rewrite our history and how we got to this point. You know, we're not.
That's why. We're not in 14th. For me.
Sorry, man, go on.
Yeah, that's why for me, I'm not even overly cooking Ineos this time around, because I know the mistakes that they've made. You know what I mean? I'm waiting for the summer, bro. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting to see what they actually do in the summer, because they're making all these cuts. You know what I'm saying? They're taking money away from people. You know, are they going to do what Clear did, bro? You know, change the team completely. That's what I'm looking at, because you know, he's coming, doing a lot of talk about, you know, he understands the club. You know, he understands what the fans want and all of these things, bro. What your club needs is a whole revamp up top. A whole revamp. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm looking at for me in the summer, to see if Ineos are actually serious.
I agree. Potsy, I want to ask you this question first. What did you make of the treatment yesterday of Joshua Zirzkee?
Yeah, man, look, I don't ever really believe that fans should be told they can't boo either a performance or an individual if they really believe that it's an absolute shambles and that's how they truly feel. And the reason I say that is not because I'm Standards FC, and it's not because I believe that you know, it's the right or wrong thing to do. I feel like if you've paid for a service and you think it's absolutely shambolic and you truly believe that, then go do what you want, man. Real talk. Like, if I go for a meal and it's shit, I'm not going to say, I'll just sit on my hands and just eat it and be a good boy and then go and get someone else. You say, if you believe that to be an absolute atrocious performance, individual performance, you have a right. You've paid your money. You think it's a shambles. Do I think it's going to help Joshua Zirzkee and Manchester United? Probably not. But the fan base have, let's be real, been very, very patient at Manchester United. They don't really understand the signing. We're all on here not really understanding the signing. For £40 million and 75 for Højlund, that's a disgrace to spend that much money on 2 players up top that can't get more than 9 goals or whatever the hell it is. So for me, I don't really think it's a disgrace that the fans have done that. Arsenal fans have done it before with players like Mustafi and even Granit Xhaka at times. And I didn't think it was a disgrace back then because they were a shambles.
That's what it reminded me.
Why is it a disgrace? No, one second, Terry. I'm sorry. You know why
you took over the show, bro, because you let other people talk.
No, hold on. It's my section right now because we're talking about my
team. You have a lot of time to talk. What's wrong with you, bro?
You know why it's a disgrace? No, because fuck this fan base, bro. I'll tell you why. Because these guys... No, hold on. Let me tell you this, because it pissed me off. And it's not you, Patsy. Yesterday, I was really pissed. And I said this on my channel. I'm going to say it again. These are the same match-going fans that sit here and they watch our channels and they go, oh, YouTube is toxic. AFTV is toxic. United Stand is toxic. Football Terrace is toxic. Whoever they want to call is toxic. Oh, they just sit there and they just talk shit about players, get behind the players, da-da-da-da. And then they go drink about 40 fucking liters of beer. And then they go to the stadium. 60% of them are drunk and they just sit there and they fucking spit shit like they did yesterday at a 23-year-old who's just been here for about 4 months. Meanwhile, you have other players, and I'm not going to sit here and I'm going to play the race card, but there's certain players that go on that pitch and do nothing and shit the game and stink the pitch out every fucking week. And when they get subbed off or subbed on, they get their names fucking sang. And this kid who came in under a different manager, a different system, forget that he's been in the club for 4 months. He's been in this country for 4 months. Okay, made team of the year last season under a team that appreciated him and made Champions League. And he was begging, and managers were begging to buy him when he went to Juventus. He comes here and he suffers from the toxicity that everyone is suffering from. And what they do when he gets subbed off, they fucking boo him. And the minute they see Manu coming on, they cheer it. The kid takes his fucking jacket and he goes to the fucking locker room and starts fucking tearing up and crying because he doesn't know what he did so bad to get scapegoated. The sub needed to be made because we were losing the midfield battle. So whoever was going to get subbed off first was going to get that. But the fact that you chant Viva Garnacho every week, but you want to scapegoat this guy, it shows me that you're just selective who you want to support. When Fat sat there and said, work on your first touch, they told him to go back to fucking Asia and shit and got all those racist abuses on fucking line. And this kid yesterday, all he did was be a part of a shit 11 that played, and they boo him. When's the last time we booed a single individual? I'll tell you when's the last time we booed a single individual. Another black guy, Rashford, and another black guy in Pogba. These guys selective who they want to boo. And this is why when people come out and say it's a race thing, it's because this fan base is a disgrace. Don't ever sit here and tell us again on YouTube that we're toxic when you sit there and you scapegoat a 23-year-old because the manager got the formation right and the seniors on the fucking pitch like Casemiro and Eriksen and them were getting ran over. Fuck this shit, man.
What, are you gonna crash out or what?
Listen, players.
I was waiting for you.
Let me just say one thing. Look, I hate to say this, but I do agree with Safi. I think different players do get different treatment, and I saw this with Salah as well and other good players maybe who. We're going through a tough time 2 years ago with the season where, Liverpool were going through a bad time. The criticism would always be labeled towards like the likes of Salah, etc. And then you'd sing Nunez's name. I just don't understand it, to be honest with you. But when it comes to Manchester United, like in general, as a fan base, this is something that you guys deserve to see, because you guys are the biggest gaslighters in the whole universe, worse than Chelsea fans to begin with. So that in itself is an insult, even though Don is on this panel and he's probably one of the worst content creators I've worked with in my life. I love him as a man though, but like he's probably one of the worst opinionated guys I've ever heard talk football.
Okay, cool. But I'm going to stop you because I need to understand something. When you say you've got to expand on what Man United fans do,
I'll tell you. Bruno is better than Gerrard. I went back, I watched that video yesterday. Now I wanted to vomit.
Hang on.
I wanted to vomit.
Hang on. Sorry. Who said that?
A United fan on one of those sports Bible things, the videos that they do where they have the cups thing.
Oh, fuck off. I don't want to hear about that bollocks.
What do you mean, fuck off? It's a United fan wearing a United shirt representing Man United on a show?
Liverpool fans.
You represent all the Liverpool fans, bro.
Hang on, guys.
I only represent
Guys, stop a minute. A Liverpool fan the other day tweeted that Bukayo Saka got an infection after his injury and it's threatening his career. Is that representative of you, Husam?
No, I'm not saying it represents me. I'm just talking about the United fans in general.
Something stupid and we're all gaslighters. Fuck off.
Anyway, listen. Anyway, first of all, Terry, you have to pay for your Bruno crimes because you propped up that Portuguese Gallagher. You've been propping up that Portuguese Gallagher for the last 3 years.
When I propped up
you have
Bruno,
to pay for that crime now.
I'm just going to mute your lines and your bullshit. Hang on. Then I'm playing your slot out video every time you come on now. Fuck you.
Play it. I've already said it was an emotional reaction.
Fuck you. We're going to play these games.
I've already said it was an emotional reaction. I don't care. I've already said it. Play it.
Every single time you come on now, that's what we're playing. That's what we're playing. When I propped up Bruno, when I propped up Bruno, he was performing and scoring at a massive level for the last couple of years.
For 6 months.
That's fucking bullshit. 6 months. Don't lie. Let's move on to someone else who wants to speak the truth. What are you saying, Nobbins?
I can't even speak. I got interrupted 10 seconds after.
Not if you're going to sit there and lie. No, you're not talking.
No, but we're here to express our opinions. I want to express my opinions on Man United.
Your opinion's a lie. We're moving on, Nobbins.
My opinions is not a lie. I'm not just
you
gonna.
You just lied about me 3 times in 5 minutes.
I didn't lie about you. You were doing Bruno prop. You've defended Bruno for 3 years.
When Bruno played well, I praised him. When he played badly,
Bruno hasn't played well for 3 years.
For the last couple of years, I've been saying that I think we should look to move him on. Said it. So what are you lying about?
I never heard you say that.
You fucking need to clear your ears out and listen more then, Nobbins.
Fair enough. I never heard you say that. But regardless, with Man United, look, Man United are in this position because everyone fucked up. Everyone fucked up at the club.
That's very true.
Everyone, including the managers, both of them, Amorim and Ten Hag, including Ineos. And, we kind of did fall for the Ineos stuff that Mr. Flowers was saying in the summer. But now the series of decisions that they've made over the last 3 months make you question,
I've got to interject again. What are you lying for? I said in the summer... I
can't even criticize.
You're not going to lie about me. In the summer, I said, and all of you do straight facts with me. So please, boys, you can banter if you want. I said keeping Ten Hag's a massive mistake. I said we should be moving that guy out, and I called it a mistake from the beginning. I said I'd be objective about it, but I thought it'd be a mistake, and it turned out to be a massive one. Okay? That also doesn't mean, though, that I think we should turn our backs on them and throw baby out with the bathwater. When they kept the manager, I said it was wrong, and we had to bring an Amorim, whoever it was, in at the start of the summer. That is what I said. So why lie?
But you did look at the positives, because we did a show and we looked at, okay, Ten Hag under new structure.
I literally just, yes.
Thank you, Lawless.
No. That's fucking, but I just literally said, I was objective about it and said, I'm going to put my feelings aside, look at what could or may not work, and see what happens. I weren't going to throw baby out with the bathwater. But let us not pretend that I jumped for fucking joy, stripped off naked and run around the streets and, oh my God, greatest decision ever. That's not bullshit, boys.
But today was going to work. Terry, did you not hold on. Did you not sit with, I think, all of us, and you actually gave us the reasons why you think it might work for Ten Hag?
But you're missing the fundamental point. And why point. Oh, no, it's not the whole point. If I sit there and say, I'm against this, I think it's wrong, but here's some objective reasons as to why it might work, that's not the same as saying I'm fully behind it. I think it's the right decision.
Yeah. I remember Terry was basically saying, like, he's happy that Ten Hag hasn't got the control on the recruitment anymore, is what he was saying, right? Because it was hopium, Terry. Let's be real. It was hopium. Because Terry didn't want Ten Hag to stay, but he was like, do you know what? If he is going to stay, I'd rather him be in a position where he's not got control and he's just managing the team. That's what it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, Terry.
Yes, done, but we all said it's not going to work under Ten Hag because the guy is finished, is done.
Yeah, but the reality, the reality is.
Of course, we're not going to sit here. There's no one that is sure of the future 100%. But the reality is, it was never going to work under Ten Hag.
I'm sorry to say, I'm sorry, and I don't care how much of a dickhead I come across, but I don't care. I'm going to stand my ground here. That's why I literally, none of us can tell the future, which is why I said I thought it'd go wrong. But here's some objective reasons for podcast's sake, for conversation's sake, that could see it work. Okay? Because what the club tried to do, it brought in some Dutch coaches. They bought him some players that they thought would suit his style, that met a certain threshold. And it was all right. You've got a structure now. And many Man United fans got behind this. They said, well, now there's a structure. Maybe he can make something work. And we started the season off. And there were some minor improvements in the shape. Okay, that looks a bit better, but it whittled away very quickly, like a lot of us thought it would. Me being objective and looking for some positives, whilst being open and honest, I'm not going to sit here and then have that thrown back in my face like I fully make it sound like I fully support the move. It's not called copium. Oh, fine.
But you were pro Ineos in the summer.
I'm still pro Ineos now. I haven't fucking changed. What are we doing here? I ain't changed.
What are you pissed?
What is this bullshit?
So why are you angry then?
What are you pissed?
You're lying about me.
I'm not. You are pro Ineos. You just said it, so we're criticizing Ineos.
No, because then you started talking about the keeping the Ten Hag specifically, and I weren't happy about.
I never mentioned Ten Hag. That was Mo.
Fucking lie.
Terry, in the first match action, I came with you on KJ on the match action, Terry, and I said I see the same things, and he said no.
Sorry,
Terry. In the first match, I'm gonna repeat again. In the first match action on this show, on the match action with Terry, KJ, Cam, I said I see the same things as last season. This Ten Hag guy doesn't have a clue. The players look clueless, and I don't see the same patterns of play. And you said no. I see a change. I see a light.
Yes, and what I saw,
right or wrong? Did that happen or didn't happen?
And I'll explain it. You're right, and I'll explain it.
All right. Okay.
No, but not all right, because there's an explanation.
I'm letting you explain. Go ahead.
Okay.
It's your show.
We saw it in the Community Shield game as well. In the first few games, the first two especially, there was a shape. We plugged the midfield. Ten Hag's island wasn't there, where the midfield was being exposed by itself. Okay, and we played okay football. And I said, okay, there's a base here to grow from. When you said it was exactly the same, I said it wasn't. The same as, by the way, the last 4 games of the season. We plugged the hole in midfield and we beat Newcastle. We narrowly lost to Arsenal. We went on to win the FA Cup final. And a lot of United fans, including Staffy, hopefully he backs me on this, said, why haven't we addressed this hole in the midfield all season? And we're doing it now. What then happened after that Fulham game is we saw that hole, Ten Hag's Island, start to appear again more and more and more, and it all fell apart. So what I won't do, even if I don't think a manager should be here, is if I see change, I'm not going to ignore I've seen it just to push an agenda. But did I say, wow, it's brilliant, we're going to win the league, best decision ever from Ineos, I'm fully behind keeping Ten Hag? No, I didn't. So I'm not going to sit here and have that picture painted when it isn't what I said. But over to you lot. I'm going to let you lot just continue to lie. Crack on.
Anyone actually rate this squad?
Nobbins,
I'll be real. I don't think many people have actually looked at this squad as a genuine thing, because I had Manchester United like top 8 this season. I don't think they'd be great. When Amorim come in, I thought they could probably and should be in minimum expectation now to push for the top 6. But then you look at the squad and you think, is it actually good enough for that? Like, real talk, it's not. I don't think that they're playing well enough as a squad. The Newcastle right now, I don't think they're getting anywhere near Villa or Chelsea. Forget Arsenal, Liverpool, and City, in my opinion. Even with City playing like this, I think Manchester United squad is pretty poor, man.
That's the problem. Like, and you probably get this labeled at you. Someone will come tell you, Arsenal fans say this and that. It'll probably happen in this show. You know, Don will tell you, Arsenal fans, blah, 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 and he'll label it at you, which this happens. It's normal. But from a United fan perspective, that wasn't the conversation. I mean, Terry was having conversations about United squad and Chelsea squad. I'm not lying. There was a conversation.
I agree. But that, if you say that to me, if you say, Terry, at the start of the season, you said there wasn't much difference between your squads, I'll go, yeah, I did, and I got that one wrong. Because that's
okay, no problem.
Hang on,
but this is why Husam is calling it out, Terry.
That's why I will admit to the things I've got wrong. What I won't do is have you lie about things.
I haven't lied about you once.
One second.
Can I just say, I'm just getting 10 seconds. Just 10 seconds, I'm going to mute my mic. Staffy, I'm going to let you go. Like, this is the thing. This wasn't what United fans were saying. I can't go based off of what Husam thinks about Man United or what Don thinks about Man United. Let's go based off what their own fan base is saying. When they hired Amorim, I was watching Said and they were comparing their squad to Liverpool's squad. Okay? So I'm not going to go based off of what I think. I'm going to go based off what the United fans say on their platform.
I'll be honest with you. When you come on the terrace, I want you to give me the opinions that you think. I want your opinions on things.
Okay, that's fine. I know. I'm going to tell you my opinion. But the point is, you have to go based off what the United fans think and say. And they were talking about these players like they are good enough. And they were talking about these players like they are amazing. And all they needed was a new manager. Well, guess what? New manager came in who was the next best sexy thing in football, who we wanted to replace Klopp, who Pep, like long-term replacement was Amorim, who some Arsenal fans were saying he's better than Arteta, and in the last he's managed like one game less than Ten Hag, I think, in the Premier League, and shit ain't got better. We're 14th, Za. We're 14th. That's your fades right now. This is where you're at right now. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Go ahead.
The issue is when Husam says gaslighting. Here's the thing, and we need to go back a little bit further. I want to go back to Ten Hag's second year, which is last season. The issue is along the way, and I think this is where you started with Husam when you mentioned Ten Hag and all that. Along the way, it is very easy to say, "Oh, it's not good" when things don't become good. My issue is, and that's the part that Husam is speaking about United fans and the gaslighting and that. There's multiple times where I came on this platform and I spoke about players that we are signing that I didn't think were good enough, and I was told, "Stop showing your backside, stop being negative, stop being this." And when I say me, it's not just me. There's a majority of the fan base that agreed with me on these opinions. People only decided to agree with us once it became obvious, once it became evidential. I was on this platform, and you'll remember this, Terry, and KJ will remember this. The first time I ever said anything bad about Ten Hag was the minute he was insisting with Mason Mount. And I knew right away, and KJ will remember this vividly. I said, this is red flag number 1. And that was after the season we finished 3rd. I didn't wait to see one bad game to know that we were moving the wrong direction. The issue is, I can call out that. I can call out the signing of Casemiro. I can call out the signing of Højlund. I can call out multiple signings before they all got proven to be bad, before the football got proven to be bad. I was Ten Hag out before a lot of people were Ten Hag out. It is easy to become Ten Hag out when it was obvious. This is why when Husam sits here and says, we overrate, and he says United fans overrate their players, overrate their decision, overrate this, overrate that. It's because there's people that sat here like me, called it out when I was sitting here and saying, Garnacho's not half the player Sancho is, and I got told to stop sucking off Sancho and this and that. Look at us now. He's playing for a team that's comfortably sitting in the top 4, and this guy can't get a fucking minute on the pitch. And when he does, he stinks it out. He hasn't had a goal in about 6 games. This is what I'm saying. People sit here and they call it out after it happens, Terry, and that's the gaslighting you're talking about.
So, look, I think there's some truth to the gaslighting element. What I would say, I can't speak for what all other Man United fans say. A lot of the people that did that about the squad you mentioned, Husam, are also the same people that said we win the league with Ollie's squad. They've been wrong. A lot of the analysis about Man United is so surface level. Around sack manager, we get better. Sell this player, we get better. So I don't really want to have a 20-minute conversation on the football terrace about whether those opinions are right or wrong. I want your opinions on the situation because I just do. Your opinion is more valuable to me than some half-cut bloke on Lads Bible. Like, it's fun, but I want your opinion on Man United. Yeah, I was pressed. I am pressed because I will always admit to the things I've got wrong. But I will never sit here and have things said about me that are not true. Before we move on from Man United, because we've got a lot to get through, Nobbins, what was your take? The audience want to hear from you.
Sorry. It's not really related to what was being discussed. Sort of is. I just like on the conversation of like, is the squad good enough? Who's to blame? Ineos, Amorim, whatever. I think it basically boils down to how much do you actually believe in Amorim and specifically his system. So you can't really have you can't really evaluate the quality of this squad within the current framework. So, for example, I predicted Newcastle to beat United 2-0 yesterday, whenever it was yesterday, simply because whatever midfield United were going to put out, whatever midfield they could put out, was always going to get run through by Newcastle's midfield, just because they have one of the best, most physical midfields in the league. Casemiro and Eriksen were never going to be able to deal with them. He's playing Dalot out at left wing back. There's no width out there because you need a left-footed player out there. In order for Amorim's system to work, as I understand it anyway, the centre backs need to be mobile enough and willing to step out and help the two central midfielders. If you looked at that game against Newcastle, it was basically you had the back five all pinned back, and then the two in midfield, Casemiro and Eriksen, trying to take down the entire Newcastle midfield, which is physically impossible. In order for that to succeed, you would need like Declan Rice in that midfield. You would need Caicedo in that midfield. You would need someone like Mateus Nunes, formerly of Sporting, someone like that would work. This is why I assume they brought in Ugarte. So it depends what your starting point is. If your starting point is Amorim is the right guy, and I believe in the system, then I don't think it's fair to judge the last few games on him. If you think that the system, by definition, is rubbish and can't fundamentally work in the Premier League, then that's another matter altogether. And then you can question the stubbornness. You can question, was it wise to just just have Eriksen and Casemiro to deal with the entire Newcastle midfield? So that's how I would interpret that. And it totally depends on what is your starting point of your faith in Amorim's and his system. That's all I want to say.
I think on a football level, that's absolutely spot on. It's I'm not really putting a lot of the blame on him. I thought he made a mistake yesterday picking that sort of core midfield three, including Zirzkee. There wasn't enough mobility in it, and we become a much better team. We had 10 shots to their 1 after that change, and we probably they could have gone 3-0 up, to be fair. But if you look at the game in chronological order, we really should have got a goal back and maybe equalised if you actually watch the football match. And there's a lot of things to be addressed. That's where the original question on this show came from today. Is a lot of fans are saying that Amorim needs to abandon his style. And this is where I am looking at Ineos. And if they make certain mistakes by making the manager abandon his style, which I don't think he'll do, I think he'd quit if they asked him to do that. If we don't buy the players that make this work, if we don't sort of stick with this for a prolonged period of time, then I'm going to be against them as I was the Glazers, because our biggest problem is we've never stuck anything through. And I don't really care what style of football we pick. And I get what Staffy was saying about Garnacho versus Sancho. And all. For me, I'll be honest, and this isn't a dig at you, Staffy, so please don't take it that way. All that conversation, I'm just done with. We all get some predictions right. We all get some predictions wrong. We all rate this player. And then, someone in the comments said, Terry, you thought Højlund was a good signing. I did when we signed him. I watched quite a lot of him, was impressed. By the way, a lot of people thought Zirzkee was going to be a good deal. And a lot of people did. When you sign certain players, you think, well, I've watched them play there. I've read this about them. I've seen them do this. I'm excited about what they can bring. I think after the fact, we all get some right, we all get some wrong. What the real focus now should be is what's right for the club going forward. And I just don't want us to make the same mistakes we've made the previous 5 times. And the mistakes would be making a manager abandon his principle and or not buying the profiles of player that make that work. That's the one thing we haven't done in 11 years. We've done the opposite. So what I'm really fucked off about with Man United fans, and listen, the Zirzkee treatment, I agree, wrong. But beyond all of that is we're now asking for the opposite from Ineos and Amorim that we were screaming at Woodward and the Glazers and the other managers not to do. I'm fucking lost. And that's because there's no patience. That for me.
I know you want to move on.
Yeah.
I'll leave it with this. Ten Hag told us, I think it was last season, maybe the season before. I think it was last season. He told us he can't get these players to play the style of football that he wants. Mind you, he signed about 75% of them. Manager comes in Amorim and he says, no, I will play the way that I want. Both these managers were losing anyways, but one of them wants to stick to his principle and build something, and the other guy just tried to shoehorn for 2 years. Paper over the crack for 2 years. Which one are you supporting? I don't care for Ten Hag. This guy at least is standing on business. So if both of them can't get these players to play their style of play, at least one of them wants to stay on it. The other one abandoned it. So I'm going for the one that didn't abandon it.
I completely agree, which is why I'm looking at the board more than the manager, because it's all of our clubs. Your board are the ones who dictate whether that continuity exists. They're the most important element, and without them, it doesn't matter what Amorim does; it's going to fall apart. So, yeah, look, we all get things right, we all get things wrong, and a few people comment, Terry, you only want to move on subjects when you're wrong. Well, no, I told the guys before we actually spent probably 25 minutes longer on this than we expected to backstage, and yeah, I don't feel like I'm wrong. So, cheers. Thank you. Some super chats here. Happy New Year from Perth. Oh, yes, it's already New Year to you. So happy New Year. Come on, you gooners. Go Dan P. How is he being scapegoated? He's been poor. But so has the rest of the team. But everyone's saying that Josh doesn't deserve that call. Yet if it was Garnacho, you would have said nothing. Keep the same energy. Yeah, look, I do feel there's an element of truth to that as well, because I think some people that are angry Zirzkee got booed. If Garnacho had been booed yesterday, it'd be a different group of people angry. And that's what happens at Man United a lot, to be fair. I weren't a big fan of it, to be fair. Damn you, Nobbins, always the voice of reason within the football staffing bantering quagmire.
I can do the banter as well, but there was enough of that going on for that discussion, so...
Staffy is spot on. Clapping a player off the pitch is shameful. Dan, paying for a service, whether a meal or a game ticket, doesn't give you a pass to be unkind or disrespectful.
Clapping a player off is shameful. Well, that's the news to me. I do that.
It was ironic. Like it was ironic jeers. They were celebrating that he got subbed off. It's not like they were celebrating.
It's just.
I didn't listen. If they would have just booed the whole team, I'm for it. I think when the team comes bad,
the whole team did get booed at half time, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And look, what I will say, a friend of mine that still goes to games, who's a season ticket holder, I messaged him. I hope you're doing well if you're watching, bro. And I said, "Did you jeer?" And he said, "Yes." He said, "But the group that he was in, this again, I can't speak for the whole stadium, and this is why I think it's wrong to label everybody wrong to label a whole 75,000 people. Their group sort of jeered." Because they were actually annoyed it took so long for a change to be made, because everybody.
That's what I mean, Terry. This is what I'm saying. Yeah. Are they booing Zirzkee or are they booing the situation at Man United? We don't know. They're not going boo to Joshua Zirzkee. Were they pointing at him, kissing him, saying get off? Or were they actually just boo because this is a mess at Manchester United right now?
I've seen other videos.
I didn't watch the whole game. I just saw the incident.
I've seen other videos where you can hear some booing as well. So I look at these things sometimes. I think you're getting a mixture here. Like I said, I agree. I think definitely some people would be motivated by race, because there are racists out there. You can't deny it. Do I think everybody did it for that reason? No, I don't, because I've got friends that were there that sort of did it for different reasons. I've had conversations with them. So I do think, though, you've got a right to show dissatisfaction to your team.
Absolutely. That's my point.
I agree with that. Thank you, Luke, for the super chat. Terry, calm down, control your emotions. Let's enjoy the show. No, I'm rattled.
Football's a game of emotions, though.
It is. And listen, I'm not going to listen. These gentlemen there, I'd call all these guys friends. I'd have a meal or a beer with them. Sometimes we rattle each other. It's the way it goes. I'm telling you, no one here is going to come off and be backstage going, Terry, you were so out of order because you got angry. Just a bunch of friends having a conversation. I wouldn't worry about it. Terry, you've been saying Bruno is better than Odegaard and Maddison for years. Listen, when I haven't said Bruno is better than Odegaard for a long time, because Odegaard has gone to a level that Bruno's not at. I still stand by this. I wouldn't swap Bruno for Maddison. I still think Bruno's a better football player. Maddison's better on the eye, but the lack of output from this Maddison brother, I wouldn't take him. I wouldn't. Again, so I wouldn't do it. And Bruno at his best, when I was propping him up, is clear of what Maddison has done on a football pitch, in my personal opinion. The whole platform is an abusive relationship with Husam. That's because he's a fraud. Again, that's a joke, ladies and gentlemen. It's not meant. So if you get upset by it, touch grass. Amorim loses games and wins press conferences. But did you see what the media did to him today, though? The Sky Sports put a headline up saying it's embarrassing to be the Man United manager, when what he actually said, it's embarrassing to be the Man United manager when we lose this amount of games. But they cut the final few words out. And this is why, though, I will say to Man United fans, be angry, but understand that rivals and the media are not our friends in this, and they're doing everything they can to make this situation harder.
You still loving these drip, though? You and Staffy, you still loving the drip? Yeah,
I ain't heard nothing
about
drip
codes and vibes and all this. Let's go.
Keep enjoying it, boys. This ain't lasting forever. We are going to be back, and then you can all cry.
You've been saying that for 12 years.
Listen, all I'm going to say is if you're going to lose in fashion. That's all.
That's another lie there, Sam. I've said until we change what we do at board level, we won't ever be back. So let's not lie about what I've said here, my friend. Sam is right. United fans are the most delusional. On the Man Them talk on Said TV, Ranson Said said Man United squad was better than Arsenal's. No, you're lying. There's no way they said that. There's no chance.
Rance actually did say it. Yeah,
I think you're all lying. Rance is my guy. He would never say that.
He said that. He said that to me as well, Terry, bro.
Bullshit. Rance didn't say that. No way Rance said that. I can't believe it. I don't believe it. Don't believe it. They're lying about you. I'm going back.
Maybe it wasn't talking about football. Maybe it's just better at another activity or something. Because clearly it can't be better at football.
I'm back in rant.
They eat more. They eat more. Look at Casemiro. No.
United is a decade behind. Why isn't mentality and personality baked into their decision making? It should be. It absolutely should be. It's a knock-on effect, isn't it? I think it isn't just one thing or the other, and I think that's what's important, Mohammed. United fans delusional. If R. Kelly was the manager, you'd still back him for a process. Fair enough. Who do you support? I love to know who you support, my friend. I'm sorry if someone is playing shit and is paid £66 to watch the game. I have a right to give out my frustrations as long as it doesn't go over the top.
Don't be selective. That's all I said.
Facts.
I said don't be selective. Why can you not understand that as a fan base?
But this is what I would say, though, Sam. But when you're saying don't be selective, I'm not defending yesterday's actions, but you're not selective because you don't have the same energy for the players that you rate versus the ones that you don't. We're all like that. We all do that. We all do that.
I'm not at the game booing anyone.
But you would boo Garnacho if you were there, wouldn't you? And you might. I'll give you an example. Ahmad yesterday took 3 shots when there's a crowd of players in front of him when he should have passed the ball. Wrong. And I called him out for it. If Rashford did that, I know you'd be angrier because you like Ahmad more. And that's fair. That's natural. It's normal.
And if Garnacho did that, they would, Garnacho's a scrub, but Ahmad is the next Messi.
No, stop doing this. See, now you're gaslighting me.
No, but you gaslighted an entire stadium, Staffy. So I'm
gaslighting the stadium. You know how many times? Hold on. Because now you're starting to annoy me again. How many times did Højlund drop a stinker in that same stadium and he got subbed off, and not once did I hear him get booed? And he's been here longer.
I agree. I agree with you.
I agree with you. Said the reason they booed him. Well, the sections were booing him because of the substitution, and it didn't come soon. That happens a lot of the time. We boo the manager's substitutions. You're not necessarily booing a player.
Listen, the pattern is there,
in the crowd.
I don't disagree with a lot of what Staffy has said. I just think when it comes to people having had the same energy, I think we're being disingenuous when we say that sometimes because we don't have the same energy. You know, it's. I saw Ches in the group chat. I saw this man support in Clear Lake through thick and thin when everyone said it was going wrong. Yet he has the opposite energy towards Man United rebuild because he doesn't love the club. It's different. I get it. Rance calls Salah a stat merchant. He can say anything. No, I don't say that either. I think you're all lying about Rance. I'm sorry if someone is playing. Sorry, I already done that super chat there. Moving on. Chelsea lost yesterday. 3 games without a victory. A lot of the reactions online tell me they definitely thought they were in a title race because they're very angry for a team that wasn't in a title race. It's still in the top 4.
Guys.
What we saying, Potsy, about Chelsea's last 3 games?
It's quite hard, isn't it, to watch? It's been very difficult for me watching Chelsea the last 3 games. You know, fans like Don and his Chelsea brothers have all been very, very funny, laughing at Arsenal against Everton and then Arsenal against Fulham, drawing against those 2, only beating Ipswich 1-0. And you know what? I was kind of there. I was disappointing. And then Chelsea stepped forward and completely and utterly destroyed their kind of laughter. Wow. What do I say about Chelsea? Disaster. Let me tell you that. Both those goalkeepers look absolutely horrendous. Chelsea have got 9 goalkeepers.
Wait. Hold on.
Any of them are really good.
Nah, sorry, pause. I don't even want to interrupt you.
Here we go. I didn't
You
even
said
get. How long did I get? How long did I get? How long did I get?
Don, can you
before I-
respect Potsy and let him talk? Respect
How long did I get?
He said both keepers, bro. That's a lie. Come on. How you gonna cook Jørgensen for that performance yesterday, bro?
Here
Have
comes
some
the
time,
selective. Here comes the selective because he doesn't like Sanchez.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
Exactly. That's exactly, bro. You do it. All of you.
None
do
of
it.
us will interrupt
You
you. Let
literally.
you always do this.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
You always do this. Go
Here
ahead.
we go.
Tom.
Now you
Sorry
let him
for
finish,
Don's
right?
rude interruption.
Now,
Because
because
you know I'm
he
speaking
said-
facts about you, bro.
said-
Selective in terms of criticism.
Bro, he said both goalkeepers look horrendous. I'm sorry.
He's right. He's
the
right.
past
Your
few
second
games-
goalkeeper is a
past few-
scrub as well. Go
Bro,
ahead, Dan. Go ahead, Dan. We apologize for Don, Dan. We apologize for Don.
Yeah, we apologize.
Hang on, I'm gonna go back to Dan, but how dare you get triggered at something somebody says, Don? Have more decorum like me and keep relaxed, bro. Keep relaxed.
Shameless.
Anyway, back to you.
Let's
Potsy.
just keep it real, man. Chelsea need a new goalkeeper. I don't care whether you believe Jørgensen is good or bad or ugly. I think both of them are nowhere near the level.
No, but what did Jørgensen do yesterday? It's wrong,
Oh,
bro.
Allah,
Did
Oh
you-
my God, he's done it again.
I'm sorry. I hear this all the time. And to me, it's
Did you have confidence in Jørgensen?
crazy,
Have you had confidence in Jørgensen, Don?
I didn't mind his performance yesterday. I thought he had a good game.
Okay.
I thought he made some good saves.
That's a wor-
I thought the
that's a
penalty.
worry.
There's
The
nothing you could have
problem
done about the
I've got,
penalty. That wasn't even a penalty.
Okay,
bro.
so let me just say this, because Don, you do this quite a lot with me, right? I will say to you, and I've done the same with Jackson. Although I've come back on Jackson to say that he's improved and he's starting to show some progression. I compared Chelsea's team to the one that I was scared of when I was in my teens. Yeah, I compare that to the Petr Cechs in goal, the Didier Drogba's up top, the Frank Lampard's in the middle. So when you're shaking your bums for like Enzo Fernandez, I'm comparing him to Lampard. When you're shaking your bum for Nicholas Jackson, I'm comparing him to Drogba. When you're doing the same with Jørgensen, I'm
Don't
looking
work
at
like
Petr
that,
Cech.
though, Potts. You're comparing these guys. You're comparing our
This
team.
is the level you need to
with
get
players.
to, Don, because you're
Yeah, but
supposed
bro,
to be in a title race,
Yeah, but
bro.
Potts, I'm sorry, bro. Potts, you can't look at it like that, because end of the day,
Well,
we're
I am
talking
looking at it
about-
like that.
we're
I am
we're
looking at it
talking
like
about-
that. Because that's
we're
that's
talking
where I
about-
compare
Let me
Chelsea
ask you,
to, bro.
Potts, what keeper right now can we go get that's on Czech's level then? What keeper can we go get that's on Czech's level?
You could go and get us closer to that with a Diogo Costa or a Jan Oblak
how many
or
times
a
have you watched Costa,
Michael
Potts? How many times
Magnon
have you
or
watched
somebody
Costa?
like that. He's got
How
release
many times
clause.
have you watched- How many times have you watched Costa, Potts?
How many times have I watched him? Enough to know that
Yeah.
he's better than Sanchez and Jørgensen.
And Maignan as
answer.
well. Do you know that Maignan picks up an injury every other game?
Why is it Dan's job to give you the goalkeeper? I thought you had the best scouting system in the land. Let me finish. Let me finish. I
issue
thought you
yesterday-
raved
Come on,
about your
let me finish what
scouting
I'm saying.
system.
No,
I
you
thought you
interrupt
raved
me.
about your scouting
Let me finish.
system. And you
Let
said
me
you have the
finish.
best scouting system
I'm
out
sorry,
there.
bro.
Let your scouting boys go and get a goalkeeper
Bro,
that is
bro,
competent.
do you know
Why
what?
is
No,
it
no, no,
Pochettino's
no,
job?
no,
Hold on,
you're right.
Why is it Pochettino's job, bro?
The
You
reason
know
why
what?
I'm flagging
Don, you're
this-
right.
the
You're
reason why
right,
I'm
Don.
flagging this, yeah?
Keep Don. You're right. Keep hold of Jørgensen. He's quality. He's going to
Oh,
be your
but
best
I don't
number one
understand.
goal.
I agree. He's the next
Hold
Allison.
on,
Let's
hold on, hold
go.
on.
Isn't
I
it
don't
next
understand.
Allison or Czech? Keep
Bro,
him.
I don't understand how you can look at that game yesterday and your first thing is we need to go get a new goalkeeper, bro. That's what I'm struggling to understand. Jørgensen
His
was not
first
the
thing
issue
was
yesterday, bro.
disaster. His first thing wasn't
Jørgensen
My
was
first
not
thing
the
was
issue, bro.
Disaster, who is a
They
disaster,
talk about
by the way.
Costa. This
Don,
name,
can
I
I ask you-
always hear
Don,
this name,
Don,
Terry. Hold on,
Don.
Terry, before you come in, yeah? I
go on.
always hear this name and it's so boring and lazy to me, bro. Because most of the time, people don't even watch this Costa guy, right? Most of the time, this Maignan guy, most people don't even watch Maignan. And Maignan is injury prone, bro. I don't want him, right? Costa is like 6 foot. I don't want this guy, bro. I like tall goalkeepers, right? You're talking to me about Czech and these guys, bro. The only guy that
Go
can
and
chat
get,
to
go
Czech
and get
right
Fraser.
now,
Go and get
Alisson.
Fraser Forster.
Can you
He's
go
quite
get
tall.
Alisson?
He's
I'm
quite
sorry,
tall.
bro. It's lazy. It's a very lazy take, Potts, right? I've got love for you, Potts, yeah? But for you to talk about Jørgensen yesterday is very, very lazy, bro. He was not the problem yesterday, bro. He has not been a problem.
I didn't say it was the problem. I said that that's one of the problems at Chelsea. I still feel you need, in my opinion, I still feel you need a centre half. I still feel you need a goalkeeper, and I still think you need a striker. When you get those three positions, I genuinely believe Chelsea have an unbelievable chance of going for a proper title race. Not one that, you know, everyone was getting gassed about, and then you realised after the Everton, Fulham, and Ipswich game that you aren't ready. Yeah, that's the quickest title race we've seen in a long time. So for me, that's what Chelsea still need, and that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Okay, let's
Don,
get
can I just say one thing? Don,
Lazy,
Don,
man.
listen, I agree with Don on a real, unfortunately. I think Jørgensen had a good game yesterday. He saved like 3 shots from Delap, like 300 kilometers per
Yeah,
hour.
bro.
Straight at his face, he saved them. And I agree with Don. He wasn't the problem yesterday. I think the problem was Brrr, I'm freezing. Ice cold Palmer yesterday. Absolutely shit
He
performance.
created like
Guys,
3
paid off.
chances.
See, you interrupt again. Even when I agree with you, interrupt. Let me land.
You're
Just give me
lying. You're
30
lying.
seconds.
You're
Bloody hell, just give me
Yeah,
30
when people
seconds.
lie, I interrupt. I'm like you, bro. When people lie, I have to
Just
interrupt.
give me 30 seconds. Give me
You've got
30
to interrupt on
He's not
lying.
lying.
Dom.
It's his opinion.
No,
Yeah,
you've got
it's
to
not.
interrupt
It's
on
my
lying.
opinion. I think Palmer
Nice.
was shit yesterday.
Back
Anyway,
on
let me
lying.
speak. Let me speak.
But
Let me speak.
Hassam,
I'm gonna mute my
Hassam.
mic, and then you can respond to everything you want.
Can I say one thing? Hassam?
Whenever a team loses, let me
Apparently
just say
not,
this,
okay.
Nobbins, because this is
Let Nobbins
important.
speak.
Whenever a team loses,
People
whether
are-
it's
Nobbins.
Manchester City, whether it's
Nobbins.
Liverpool, whether it's Arsenal, the conversations are consistent. Where was Saka yesterday? Where was Haaland yesterday? Where was Salah yesterday? We have heard this question 7 million times. And every time Chelsea drop points, it is never Palmer's fault. It is never Caicedo's fault. It is never Jackson's fault. It is always a scapegoat. I realize something. Chelsea fans love to scapegoat because in the game against Fulham, it was all Sanchez's fault. They ignored the 3 passes that happened right through their team after Sanchez made that mistake. They ignored the fact that Fulham had more shots on target than them. I think there was had a higher XG or whatever it is. They were the much better team in that game. Against Ipswich, it's easy for you to go like, disaster. How about Jackson missing a one-on-one? How about Madueke being absolute dog shit? How about Joao Felix, in my opinion, actually did something but was nowhere
He
near
was
good
good,
enough.
bro, but he was
There-
good.
Yeah, he was good for his level. How
And
about
Maresca subbed
Nkunku?
him out.
How about Nkunku doing nothing? How about Palmer losing the ball so many times, just giving the ball through balls of opportunity. I watched that game. I did a hate watch. Opportunity for through balls for Cole Palmer in dangerous positions, giving it straight to an Ipswich player. If I wanted to do agendas that come up here and cook Enzo or whatever, I thought Enzo had a good game yesterday. I thought he was Chelsea's best player. I'm not here to just do individual agendas, but when you put a player on a pedestal, this is how football conversations have worked since the start of time. When you put football players on a certain pedestal, you have to be held to that standard. I'm not going to compare Palmer's performance to Disasi's performance. I'm going to compare him Palmer to Palmer's standard. And yesterday he was shit, just like he was shit against Fulham, just like he was shit against Everton. The performance he had against Fulham, is nothing different from a Bruno Fernandes performance. Get a goal and you're dog shit for the rest of the game. He was absolute crap. So the last 3 games, Palmer hasn't showed up. He didn't show up in any of the big games this season. Not Man United, not Liverpool, not Arsenal. Spurs is not a big game. They're crap. So he hasn't showed up in any of those games. But as soon as he gets four goals and a half against Brighton, he's the best player in the world. We're coming for your throne, Mo.
Oh, that's
so
what
he
it
holds
is.
that
That's what it
standard.
is.
Sam, I'm going to go to Nobbins in a second, but can I just say, while you were talking, I went and looked. That Palmer was not poor yesterday.
He was not
Was
poor, bro.
It wasn't amazing. It wasn't poor. He actually lost the ball yesterday. You want facts? He lost the ball 4 times less than Mo Salah did versus West Ham, as an example. Okay, they created the same amount of chances in the game, and this is where look. I'm not saying he was a 10 out of 10 performance. I'm not saying he was world class yesterday, best on the pitch. But he had a couple of good shots that were very well saved, and then he created an abundance of chances for his teammates. If they put them away, he has the stats
Name
there.
the chances.
He's not the guy that can take it on his own, Terry. Take the game by the scruff of the neck.
But he
can't say he's
You
the
want to
best
know
in
why
the
those
world.
stats
He
are
can
skewed?
though,
Because a chance created.
Cole
A
Palmer,
chance created is when you pass to a teammate and they shoot. Ipswich were on a low block. Palmer passed to Madueke and he shot. That counts as a chance created. That's why that stat is bullshit.
Okay, cool. So the point is, though, yeah, Cole Palmer can take games on the scruff of the neck, and he has done that in the Premier League. I'm not saying he was amazing yesterday. I'd have probably given him a 6.5 out of 10. Okay. However, to talk like he was the reason, there were multiple players on that pitch, Zirzkee being one of them as an example. I thought Madueke was particularly poor yesterday as an example. I'm not particularly sure the midfield, where you've got Enzo, Caicedo, and Palmer together, necessarily works when you're up against a team that's good in the transition. Okay, I think in terms of technical ability on the ball, it can be amazing, but I don't know about the mobility of that midfield. And the one thing about Ipswich, which, listen, Arsenal fans were gloating about, that's why Arsenal were right not to overcommit. You overcommit and you leave holes. They've got the speed and the power, Ipswich, to penetrate and hurt you. The Cole Palmer agenda, he's been an amazing player. He deserves the flowers that he's got. But I think Chelsea fans, you've got to strap yourselves in, because every time now that he's not a 9 out of 10, he could be an 8 out of 10, but people are going to come for him because he's so good. Nobbins, what were you going to say, mate?
I was just going to say that it might be valid to have a go at the goalkeeper. I've not seen enough of Jørgensen to comment, to be honest. Just on that, I did just want to say that, we can all accept and appreciate that City, sorry to make out City for a second, our defence is shit this season, right? I think we can all safely agree on that, yeah? Chelsea have only conceded 3 fewer goals than City. And in terms of like the underlying numbers, they're actually sort of like lower mid-table. So those are the sort of shots that their keepers are having to come up against, game after game after game, because they're sort of conceding chances as a sort of lower mid-table rate. So I think any keeper there is going to struggle in the first instance. And then just like on Palmer, I was going to challenge Husam on that, because if you concede 2 goals against Ipswich, my first port of call isn't talking about Cole Palmer, because are we expecting him to like get a hat trick? Are we expecting him to get a goal and 2 assists? If your starting point is you're conceding 2 goals, then I think that, and I've just talked about the underlying defensive numbers as well, I think that really the first thing should be the defense isn't good enough, rather than, and Cole Palmer needs to step up and needs to do better, because it's a similar thing with City. Like, loads of people said, why don't you just score more goals? Right, but we're conceding like 3 or 4 or 5 big chances a game. And it's not as bad for Chelsea, because they are obviously a better team than us this season, but it's a similar issue. I'm sure like Don knows better than everyone that the main position they need is a centre back, is a defender, because defensively they aren't quite good enough. So I just don't know how helpful it is to bring up Palmer as an issue.
What is it? Husam's just angry because Cole Palmer was performing at a level which no one was performing at, bro. He was performing at a higher level than Salah last season, bro. And he's angry that a lot of people were crowning Cole Palmer as the best player in the world at that moment in time. Things change. Right now, Salah's the best player in the world, bro. It's as simple as that. You know what I'm saying, Husam? So, listen, yesterday for me, the problem wasn't Palmer. Maresca, the past few games, has been getting things wrong with his in-game management, with some of his lineups. He says Nkuku's not a striker. He plays him up there. I've been telling Roms, bro, all season, yeah, from the beginning, because Roms was like, bro, drop Jackson and start Nkuku up top. Nkuku can finish chances. I said, bro, there's more to playing up top than just finishing your chances. When Nkuku plays up top, it's honestly like playing a mannequin up there, bro. He doesn't make the centre-backs work, right? He doesn't move enough. He doesn't press enough, right? It's night and day when you're watching him and Delap up top. You know what I'm saying? Because Delap actually knows that role, right? For me, I'd rather... Hold on, what's going on? Hold on, 2 seconds.
No, I was going to say something.
As he just answered, like, I just want to answer the Nobbins question in 20 seconds. Look, the reason why I brought up Palmer, Nobbins, is because when you're held to the standard of being the best in the world, is the same reason why I bring up Haaland if he misses chances and City lose a game of football, because certain players are expected to perform regardless. Now, when it comes to Palmer, you missed the other side of the scoreline, which is, I'm not talking about the 2 Ipswich had, I'm talking about the 0 that Chelsea had, because Palmer was involved in that, and this is where I'm having these conversations, and that's why I didn't just mention Palmer, I mentioned the whole Chelsea front line, because they were all extremely ineffective, and those 20 shots that they had, I don't know how many of them were blocked, probably 10, 11, 12 maybe were blocked by Ipswich defenders.
I mean, you were watching a different game. Chelsea hit the post. Chelsea created a lot of chances. What are you watching a different game, bro?
That's the story of our game, though, Husam, not the story of the season, is it? Like, it's all well and good saying, but
yeah, but that's
score a
we were here
game.
about Ipswich.
Yeah,
Chelsea created plenty of chances.
Let me finish what I was saying, because my nephew was...
Palmer is the team of the season. I agree.
Now, what I'm saying is that the problem the past 3 games, like I said, there's been things that Maresca's been doing wrong, bro. And the players as well, they've got to take some blame. Like yesterday, you're starting Nkuku up top. You've said numerous times the guy's not a striker. He's useless up top. Disasi, why are you playing Disasi at right back? Right? You're saying Madueke didn't have a good game. Bro, Madueke, what's he supposed to do against 2 players when you've got a guy behind him that's not helping him whatsoever? You know what I'm saying? Right? Even though
why don't you make the same excuse for Saka?
What do you mean? Why did I make the same excuse for Saka, bro? It's the same.
What do you mean? Yeah, answer the question.
Two things can be true at once. Madueke wasn't attacking the box enough, and at the same time, he wasn't getting help behind him, bro. You know what I'm saying? Ben White helps Saka all the time. You know what I mean?
Ben White's been injured 3/4 of the season, mate.
Bro, I'm talking about last season, bro. And I was criticizing Saka a lot.
But you've been criticizing him this season as well. Come on, man.
So for me, like I've said, Maresca's got to take blame, because against Fulham, he did not change the subs as well. During the game, he brings on Nkuku. You can see Harry Wilson, all these guys coming on, fresh legs. We had no energy, bro. I was at the bridge. I'm seeing guys struggling to run. You know what I mean? That game was lost because of a lack of energy, right? In this game, you could smell a goal coming before Disasi did what he did. When Disasi did what he did, it was improvising, bro. We didn't know how to create after that. But before that, you could even see the Ipswich players, their faces, Terry. They were looking shook. They knew what time it was. They knew who was going to score, bro.
It is one of those games where I feel if that game plays out the way it does in terms of both teams' performances 10 times, I still think Chelsea win 8 of them. It was one of those matches that it wasn't like they were toothless. And on the Palmer comment, if his free kick goes in, the conversation is completely different. And that for me is Palmer is more than just GA. He just is. He was hugely influential in the game. It just didn't work for Chelsea yesterday. And the weirdest thing is that it's 3 bad results for them. And I wanted to throw this question to Lawless. Do you think there was a talk of title race? All the fans saying they weren't in one, barring David. I've got to give David credit for that. The meltdown yesterday from them tells me they believe they were in one and maybe they've slipped out of it. Do you think the idea of being in a title race is gone now for Chelsea? Or is this just a little blip and they'll get back to winning regular games again?
Yeah, I think they probably will. Probably nowhere near enough to actually put any sort of real threat to Liverpool. I think Liverpool is going to be a very comfortable one, and Liverpool fans might not want to accept that because no one wants to be confident these days. No one wants to be in a title race. No one wants to be favourites for a title. But that's how it is. Like, no team, Arsenal, I don't think are really going to, especially now Saka's injured. But Chelsea will be on a run to be within enough points where you can say, yeah, they're kind of in the race. Like, really and truly. I just think, Don, as much as like I'm no Arsenal fan. I'm no lover of Arsenal. That's for sure. But had it been Arsenal that had the run of results that Chelsea had, and Arsenal have had some poor run of results, it would have been, cooking central. It would have been like Arteta this and Saka's not that guy. He's overrated. Like, we would have heard all of it. But when it's Chelsea,
Don knows it as well.
That's bullshit.
Don knows it.
Hold on, Lawless.
Don't let him lie about you, Don. Don't let him lie about you, bro.
Don, you're in the group chat throwing stats. It's Ipswich.
Terry, you're so rattled and Don is rattled as well.
Bro. This is what I'm saying.
Look at Don getting gegenpressed. Go ahead.
You're
gonna interrupt Lawless as well?
You need to shoot. Hold on, Lawless.
He's bald like your manager. Respect him. Let him land.
Lawless, I stream with you weekly on This Is London, yeah? When Arsenal dropped points against Fulham, right? And I was talking about that game. I specifically spoke about Saka. And I said, bro, he was the only one in that attack that was trying to make things happen. Everyone else,
you praise Saka
right?
sometimes.
Everyone else was poor. Right? I call it. Hold on, bro. Lawless, let's start interrupting, bro. Yeah. Listen. Hold on, man.
Whoa.
Lawless. Everyone here knows how much I love Palmer. Yeah. I've been cooking Palmer pretty much all season. Right. I've been cooking what Maresca's done in terms of changing his role. I've been cooking him individually in terms of his decision-making, bro. And that's a player that I love. You know what I'm saying? You need to tune into my channel more, bro, because a lot of the things that I'm saying about my players, I've been criticizing them, bro. The past 3 games in the second half, we come out. We've been absolutely shocking, right? Fulham in the first half, right? Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo and Palmer have a brilliant game in the midfield. Second half, they completely tail off and the manager does nothing, right? Against Ipswich, our first half was a lot better than what we saw in the second half. Second half again, flat again, bro. You know what I mean? Everyone's got to take blame right now. We're missing chances. The manager's not making good decisions. The lineups have not been good in certain positions. He's misprofiling some players. He's contradicting what he's saying in press conferences. When it comes to the match, he's doing something completely different. Bro, I've spoken about all of these things, bro.
Did that show up on the studies and the research you did before the season? Did these things show up in the studies and the research before the season? And they're like, I need that file, bro. Can you give us that file on the show, bro? So we can just bro. You tune into my channel, you wouldn't say this. I studied this guy. I researched this man. I researched that guy. They were amazing and brilliant. Did that show up?
But Mo, just because he's made mistakes doesn't mean that I think he's a fraud. Like, he's made a few mistakes. I expect him to.
You literally just cooked your manager, but you cooked him.
You didn't cook him.
You said all season you have been cooking the manager.
I didn't say the whole.
That doesn't mean few mistakes. Don, that doesn't mean few mistakes. If you are critical of someone for a whole season, 17 games, based on what you said, It doesn't mean
Okay,
few.
when did I say-
It
when did I
means
say I've been
it
cooking
has
Maresca
been.
all
You
season?
literally just said that now.
No, I said.
When
I've
are
been
you going to
cooking-
be
I said I've
Maresca
been- I
out,
said-
Don?
I said I've been cooking Palmer. I said I've been cooking Palmer. Right? I've been
Give me a
criticizing
timeline.
the past 3 games, bro. When we won those games, was it 5 wins in a row? Right? Everyone was praising Maresca, including myself. The past 3 games, I've criticized him, bro. It's constructive criticism.
So it's
right?
only
You have
3 games, not the whole
opinions
season.
on,
Then
on
Okay.
your
Oh,
channel.
it's only 3
versus
games.
all the
Yeah,
channels
it's
that
only
we
3
come
games.
on.
Okay.
Lawless, let's go back to Lawless to finish his point. There is a funny super chat here, though. It's a joke from Tevin. He says, man interrupted Lawless and then tells Lawless to not interrupt him. Nasty work.
Crazy. He interrupted all of us.
This guy.
As I've said already on this show twice, Don, keep your composure when you're being pressed like I did. It's
Right.
important.
Don never has composure when he's being pressed. Never.
I don't. I'll
Never.
be honest with you.
No, because you're lying. You're lying.
I don't
That's
either.
what
I
it is,
can't.
you're lying.
Don,
You pick and choose.
you're in
You pick and
the-
choose
you're
what
in the
to-
group
what
chat
to
arguing
listen
with
to, bro.
Lee,
I'm letting him talk.
sharing stats to show how good the performance was. Look, we dominated possession. We had X, Y chances. At the end of the day, Don, this is a terrible result. How many wins
I know
did
it is.
Ipswich have this season? If you are a serious team, yeah, then you cannot be losing, let alone drawing to Ipswich. Like I said,
agree.
Arsenal won 1-0. And we all looked at that going, yeah, you're holding the ball in the corner. Look at this. This ain't, you know what I mean? Like, you ain't a serious team. And then Chelsea come and you're losing. Stop trying to spin things in a positive light of saying,
Thank you.
we dominate.
Positive light.
Wait,
What
can
are you
I
talking
chime in
about, bro? What
here?
are you
I haven't
worried
said
about?
anything about this yet. Are you guys overreacting a little bit? Because
Of
I'll
course
be
they are,
honest. Chelsea won like 5 in a row in the
Oh,
league. What was
God.
it? 5 or 6 in a row. See, Husam, you're already upset because I'm giving you an opposite opinion. This is dictatorship. Chelsea won 5 in a row, and now they dropped 3 games in a row. It's not acceptable, okay? But they were probably overachieving to begin with. So why are we now all of a sudden reacting?
Overachieving? £1 billion
Yeah.
squad.
Overachieving.
Is that an
No,
overachieving?
hold on.
Not overachieving.
No one had Chelsea being in
Have
a title
some
race this
shame.
season.
You never thought you'd be second,
No,
Lawless.
no,
Have
no,
some
no.
shame.
See, let me
Okay, they're
finish and then
marginally.
answer.
We thought they'd be
Let me
competing
finish
top
and then
four, right?
So
Let me
now
finish and then debunk.
change to marginally. Sorry, Staffy. Okay, go
Let me
ahead.
finish and then debunk me. No one thought Chelsea would be in a title race this season, right? Yes. Okay. They win about 5 in a row in the league. They're sitting second
Chelsea
behind
fans did.
Liverpool. No one had them in the title race. What are you talking about? Don't
Some
raise your
did,
hand.
some did.
Okay, anyways.
Yeah, no one
Majority of the
did.
people,
Who did?
99%
Who
of
did
the
Lad
names?
Bible.
I
Lad
want names.
Bible. Lad
I
Bible.
want names, Husam. Names.
99%
I don't wanna
of the people
call out
did not
people.
have them in a title
John
race.
Smith.
They're second, and then they
Joe
dropped
Blogg.
3 games in a row. Now, let me ask you this. If Chelsea never won 5 or 6 in a row in the league, whatever it was, because I can't remember. Let's say they won 2, then lost 1. Then they won 2, and then they drew 1. And then they lost, 1-2, and then lost 1. Then 1-2, then drew 1. Then 1-2, and lost 1. Would we be reacting like this? No,
No.
because it would look like a more consistent pattern. The issue is they went up, and now they lost 2 in a row, and everyone's overreacting. It's like you guys were waiting for them to lose to do that when they shouldn't have been here to begin with.
Yeah. No, I
Maresca
hear
in
you
his
on that.
first year should not be competing for the league. This
Yeah,
is why
but we're not
people like David-
overreacting.
But
Staffy, we're not
100% you're overreacting.
The reason why we're not overreacting, let me just say this. The reason why we're not overreacting is the caliber of opposition that they have dropped points to. Everton, Fulham, while being 1-0 up. And I think, if correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is Ipswich first win at home, like this whole season.
Yes,
I
yeah,
think so.
you're right. Yeah,
I'm not. I hope I'm not. I saw this.
You're
Stuff.
right,
So,
you're right.
like, they're going through. They've lost to Ipswich. They lost to Fulham after being 1-0 up at home for the first time, like in 50 years, lost that derby. And they drew 0-0 to Everton without threatening Everton's goal at all. So we're just simply talking about the caliber.
Let me land. No, hold
The
on.
thing
hold
is
on.
with that, the thing is,
No, hold on. You've talked.
Lying.
the thing is,
You
Habibi, let me
discovered.
speak, let me speak,
No,
let
hold
me
on. You discovered the
Staffy, I'm gonna
concept
speak 10 seconds and mute my
of- you
mic. Just
discovered
10
the
seconds.
concept
Relax.
of football. They lost a football game to a team that you didn't think were favorites to win.
Who?
So what? It happened all season. You lost to Forest in the beginning of the season, and everyone laughed at you. Look what Forest are right now.
Yeah, this is true.
They
We
ended up
bounced
going
back
to third.
after, correct?
So what, you're saying Ipswich
By
are
the
gonna
way,
be
they,
forward?
they lost to McKenna. By the way, they lost to McKenna. Who was linked with McKenna in the summer? His club.
Chelsea.
They almost took McKenna over Maresca. So McKenna's not a scrub like everyone thought he
No,
was.
it's
Yes, he
not.
has a
Staffy,
scrub
this
team
ain't
and he's
it,
sitting
man.
in a
This
low
ain't it.
position.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here's the thing.
No, it's
I
wrong.
agree.
Like
I
it
agree
doesn't
with what
happen in
Staffy's
football.
saying
The
in
favorite
terms
doesn't
of
always
no
win.
one. No one expected Chelsea to be in a title race, so they were overachieving. You are correct, 100%. But once you are in that position, you're just there until you're no longer there. So there is no pressure on Chelsea. 1 second. There is no pressure on Chelsea to win it. No one ever made that claim. I even as shameless as I am, never made that claim. But I'm just simply talking about the quality of the team that they've dropped points to over the last 3 games, and that's simply it. And by the way, in Pochettino's last 19 games and Maresca's first 19 games, Pochettino has more points in his last 19 games than Maresca's first 19 games. Don, when are you going to be Maresca out?
So Poch is a better coach.
When are you going to be Maresca out? Can you answer the question?
So Poch is a better coach than Maresca then?
When are you going to be Maresca out? Can you answer the question?
Stop moving, please.
Wow.
Guys, we're going to jump to some great chat, guys. We're going to jump to some. I'm so glad the Man United section is done, so I can sit back and enjoy the rest of the show now. I love it when everyone.
You can go back to Man United if you want.
You can go back to Man United.
Fuck yourself, Mo. Fuck you, Mo.
Let's talk about Bruno Fernandes.
Fuck you, Husam. Mugs. This here from Joshua Jack says, how do you have all this chest for Chelsea and United, yet you don't even have chest to say that your team, Liverpool, are the favourites to win the league? 8 points clear. 9 points. 9 points clear they are right now, and you're treating them like underdogs. Shameless, Husam.
Yeah, Husam, you got to admit now. No more.
I'm
no
treating
more
them like a leopard.
No more bloody cats and trees, man. Come on, just have some chest now, bro.
Leopard is not.
I call them cats and trees.
Yeah, literally, pussy. That's what it is. Yeah, cat in a tree.
You
Pussy
wouldn't say that to a leopard's face because he'd eat your face off. So respect the leopard.
Husam is a pussy in a tree.
Respect the leopard, mate.
Speak English, Sam.
You see, Husam, you're up and down, bro. Because let's say we go on another run of wins, yeah. What are you gonna say then? You're gonna start putting us back in the title race again? Apologizing and stuff again. Come on, bro.
I thought Chelsea are not in a title race and you're overachieving. Why are you crying at the title race?
I was one of the few Chelsea fans that literally said we are in the race until we're not in the race anymore, bro. And
guys, I'm going to make a prediction.
We're not in the race. We're not in the race right now.
Chelsea are going to fall off and Don's going to be Maresca out in March. Remember that.
I don't want to get away from the Liverpool thing too much. Nobbins, do you think Husam's right to say that Arsenal and Chelsea are still favourites ahead of Liverpool right now?
Not Chelsea, don't lie. You got triggered.
Hang on. Hang on a minute. The other day, you said third.
I said Arsenal and Forest, mate.
Oh, sorry, Arsenal Forest. Arsenal Forest are bigger favourites than Chelsea.
Don't lie.
I apologise. Sorry, I lied on your name. Yeah, you called me out for it. Do you think Husam means this, or do you think he's being a pussy in a tree?
No, I think that too many close title races with City has scarred him for life, which is reasonable, to be fair. But City are terrible this season, so no, he should be speaking with more conviction. You're clearly the favourites. You are clearly the best team in the Premier League and probably the best team in the world so far this season. And it's outrageous that you aren't backing your club and team accordingly.
Have some balls.
Arsenal could do something, but I feel like they've regressed this season. I know injuries haven't helped, but I do feel like they have fundamentally regressed. They need to go hard in Jan, like get in at least one proper starter. Whether they will, Arsenal fans seem to think they won't, which I'm very confused about. It's obviously Liverpool's title to lose, and I don't think they will lose it. I think that they will win it relatively comfortably, to be honest, given City's downfall, given Arsenal's relative regression, and given Chelsea's relative inexperience as a unit. I think that
Are you saying Arsenal can't catch Liverpool?
No, of course they can, but so can Forest. There's a difference between can and will.
You're putting Arsenal and Forest in the same category?
No, he's not. No, don't lie on his name. Don't lie.
I'm asking, bro. Why are you defending him? He's a lawyer.
You don't need to ask that question.
Respect Forest, man. They're 1 point above Arsenal.
Big up Leopard Nation rising in the chat as well.
I'm making the point that just because they can doesn't mean they will. I don't think they will do enough in Jan. I don't think they'll do enough in Jan based on what people are saying to bridge that gap. And I don't see Liverpool having a massive fall off because not only do they have to bridge that gap, but also there's a game at Anfield that Arsenal have to contend with. And right now, all I can see is Liverpool winning that game. So what's the current gap between Arsenal and
9?
Liverpool. Right. So therefore, I actually think they need to make up 12 points because I think they'll lose at Anfield. So I think they need to. I think in my head
is going to get sacked. Yeah.
Can we stop spamming that stupid emoji in the chat? I don't
Hold
wanna see
that, mate.
stupid
Hold
emoji
that.
in there.
Hold that.
Yeah, you're.
Someone
Yeah,
explain this,
you're-
please. I'm not
After you
quite-
tried to start a Garnacho cult, but it didn't work. So hold
No,
that.
wait. Stop spamming
Hold
that
that.
stupid emoji right now.
Big up
Come on,
Leopard in the
Leopard,
tree.
Big up.
My nation.
Guys, it's finish these super chats here because we've got to get onto the transfer section. As much as I hate Chelsea, this team ain't nothing to scoff at. They only need to fix the defense and add more up front. But they clearly have a midfield identity, which is always a great foundation when building a formidable team.
See, Terry, the things that people don't realize, right, is in the past 3 games, we've literally caused issues for ourselves. Do you get it? That's why I'm not overly panicking, bro. Like, yes, I'm embarrassed by the result against Ipswich. It's an embarrassment, bro. They ain't won in the Prem at home since 2002. But I can't look at that game yesterday, like Terry's saying, and think we're gonna play that game and lose it again, bro. We should have fucking won that game. We should have won that game, man. Disasi threw away the game plan, bro.
I hear you. DJ says Chelsea lose 2 games in 13, and now everyone in the squad is shite. Potts and the panel are beyond shameless. The same Potts that didn't have Chelsea near top 4. Clown.
So I'm saying.
I didn't say that everyone. I didn't say everyone in the squad is a shite. Let me just come back on that. I didn't say everybody in the squad is shite. And what I did say is that I obviously hold Chelsea to a higher standard than you and some of your other fan base, because I look at Lampard and I look at Terry and I look at Cech and I look at Drogba and players like that. That was the Chelsea that I remember. That was the Chelsea I hated and was scared of. And I'm not scared of this one. And that's the level you got to get to. But if you want to keep Jørgensen and you want to keep Jackson up top and you think Disasi's good enough, then cool. I hope you do, because I don't rate them. So
I hear that.
That's the way I see it.
Garfield has more courage than Husam. Yeah, that's your new nickname now. Pussy in a tree, bruv. It's perfect.
No, that's not gonna be my nickname. That's
It
not
is.
gonna. Remember, I have a fighting background, Terry. You ain't gonna call me a pussy, my brother.
Bruv.
So let's.
You're gonna put-
I'm not
You're gonna
pussy.
put him on the graveyard.
I'm a leopard in the tree.
Hang on. See, you're taking it in such a weak way that I'm calling you a
Toxic
pussy. Like you're a
cat.
coward. I'm calling you a pussy cat. Why are you
I'm
getting
not
offended
a
that
pussycat.
you call a cat?
I'm not a pussycat. I'm not a pussycat.
You're a cutie.
I'm not
Yes,
gonna
you are.
take
Hello.
that
How
picture.
much pussy cat?
The fact I rattled you so
Are
much, you went and got a
where?
picture of a cat
It's
in a
funny.
tree. That's
It's
how much I
brilliant.
rattled
It's
you.
brilliant. Pussy in a tree. Terry said Rashford was better than Leao for 3. I said it 3 years ago, and I wouldn't have swapped Leao for Rashford 3 years ago. I think Leao's a good player, but would I spend the 80-90 million to bring him into Man United? No. Do I think when Rashford leaves and joins another football club, he's gonna do very, very well? Yes. So when Rashford was scoring 30 goals in a season 3 years ago, and somebody said, would I swap him for Leao? I said, no. I stand by that, AJ, at the time that I said it, my friend. It's as simple as that. Over-reliance on Palmer will kill us. We need a number 1 striker. Bring Isak. Jackson is good, but is a number 2. Don Jørgensen is another Kepa, is what I'm saying.
Damn.
So you watched that game yesterday and you looked at it and said, yeah, this is Kepa in goal. I don't know what you're watching, bro, but you need to go Specsavers, my G.
Fair enough.
DJ says the flipping irony of Husam talking about goals and doing nothing else, when for the past 2 years Salah has bagged goals and done F all else. Hypocrisy stinks.
That's not Mo's game. If you're watching Mo and you think he's just goals, then you just don't know what football is, to be honest with you.
Same about Palmer. I'd say anyone who has that opinion about Salah or Palmer, I don't think it's about not knowing about football.
I don't have that opinion of him.
No, I'm not saying you do. I'm talking in general. I think anyone who has those opinions on those 2 players in particular, they're doing it for agenda's sake. They're lying. They're lying to the view.
Yeah, the only time I thought he had that type of performance was Fulham. That's it, where he scored and the rest of the game he
You can
wasn't.
have games like it, but yeah, overall, no. Obviously, you've all seen the news about Dani Olmo. There's actually a comment here from Josh. Says, Terry, do you think Dani Olmo would go to Arsenal? What do you make? What do you make of this, Potsy? Because you guys need someone in those attacking positions. There's talk that he may be available for free because they've filed 2 court appeals to bring him in. Is this the type of player that you should be going for? You know, there's talk of Mohamed Kudus at 100 million price being set. You do need to buy someone. Do you think Arsenal are going to do business? And who, in your opinion, do you think it should be?
On the Dani Olmo thing, I still don't know what is happening with his situation at Barcelona. If he become available, I would 100% take him. The reason I would take him is because we've already seen when Ødegaard's out that we've got some problems. Now, I'm a big fan of Ethan Nwaneri, but I don't think that's quite enough when you've got a 17-year-old that you're trying to rely on when you're supposed to be going in for a title race with Liverpool, right? And I like Ethan Nwaneri, and I believe that he's ready to be a part of the squad. But I think Dani Olmo is quite clear in terms of levels and experience, right? So if he becomes available, you go and get the player. I don't know what there would be a situation of wage-wise, but if he is going to be free, I think it's a no-brainer, right? In terms of what Arsenal will do, I really don't know, Terry. I really don't know, bro. And I say I don't know in a negative way because I just don't trust the board and the ownership to get it right. You know, I've been waiting for an attacker at this club for 5 years. And the only attack-minded players that we've bought have been Trossard, Willian, Sterling, Havertz, and Jesus. And none of them are number 9s. None of them are really good enough to be starters for most of the top 4 clubs, in my opinion. And I think although Kai Havertz has been bought for 65 million and people say it's been a good signing, I agree it's been a good contribution signing, but I don't think he's good enough to play in the 9 or the 8 first team for Arsenal. How can you buy a 65 million pound player and then still need an 8 and a 9 in the 2 positions that he's supposed to be playing? So it hasn't been a great signing like some people think. When I look at what we might do and go and do, I think it has to be a striker. So when I look at Kudus and I look at links with Semenyo and Brian Mbeumo and Cunha, yeah, I would take that. But I want that on top of a striker. Because for me, I think we absolutely need a number 9 at this club. Now, we're not going to go and get Isak in January, although everybody would love to see it. But that means we have to go and look at releasing one of the clauses of one of the Victors, man. We've got to go and get a Victor Gyökeres or a Victor Osimhen or something like that in the number 9 position for me. And then Havertz then becomes a squad player. Jesus becomes a squad player. With Saka out, we've also got problems there as well. And we all know that Raheem Sterling is not it. I mean, I could have told you that before we signed him, right? So when I look at it right now, we have to go and get somebody. Now, if you're going to go and get Dani Olmo on a free and you go and do something up top, I think that's a really good window for Arsenal. But I've been very, very used in the last 3 or 4 windows in January for Arsenal doing nothing at all. In fact, with the last 2 windows, we've done nothing. One before that, we gave Aubameyang away for free. And then when we actually did do something, we were linked with Caicedo and ended up with Jorginho and linked with obviously Mudryk, and we got in Trossard and Kivior. So it hasn't been very, very good in the last few. So I look at the Cronkies, I look at the ownership, and people think I have a go at them too much. Oh, look how much money they've spent. Yeah, but look at the lack of ambition. £200 million in their own pockets in nearly 20 years. Are you crazy? That's mad for me. So look, I don't have faith in it, and I need to see something in January, man.
Can I just say one thing on Olmo, please?
I just want to say about the Olmo thing. So the second attempt to register Dani Olmo has been rejected with the Spain international essentially becoming available for a free in January. The agent, though, and this is where, again, it depends on the news outlets you believe, what you think is going to happen. This isn't specifically to Arsenal. The agent of Dani Olmo has said the decision made by Dani is to stay at Barcelona. He wants to play for Barcelona. We're not considering any other options. And look, that may end up being true. However, that's what they've got to say at this point because Barca are fighting to keep him. If they foul on a third attempt and they have to get rid of him, Dani Olmo is not going to sit there for 6 months, sit there for a year, and potentially not play football. I think it's something that Arsenal. I look at all the teams right now that could do with him. I think Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, City should all be knocking on his agent's door right now, seeing what's because he can play in multiple positions. I think all of our clubs need players in those positions, and I think for Arsenal, it almost feels like not quite an open net because you've got to convince him to leave Barca. They're in a pretty good position as it is, but it should be a deal that all the top clubs in England and, by the way, across Europe should be exploring because the opportunity to potentially get someone like him on a free, and I know he's saying he's committed to Barca, but we all know money talks. You offer that agent a nice little 10 million quid, he'll get in the ear of Olmo and say, "Come on, bruv, let's get across to England." So, sorry, over to you, Husam.
Look, with Dani Olmo, we wanted him to replace Firmino like 3 years ago because he's that type of player. First of all, I want to just say this about Isak because people keep mentioning Isak's name. I don't think any club can buy Isak in January. Any. Like, I'm talking even Real Madrid. Like, that's just an impossible transfer due to the amount of money, due to the complications of it and shit. I just don't think anyone can really get Isak in January. So from like the Olmo thing, look, with Olmo, I think he's more of like a player that links up play really well. He's like a number 10 kind of playing a striker. If you're looking for like a clinical finisher that gets like 25 goals a season, Olmo's not that guy in my opinion. Olmo's the type of guy that's more creative, links up play really well, and is very good with the players around him. I've watched Dani Olmo heavily because we were linked to him. And I don't know what the stats are saying, but just based off of eye test, I wouldn't recognize him as a clinical player that can score 25 goals a season. So is that like what Arsenal need? In my opinion, no. I think Arsenal need a robot. I think Arsenal need a bot. Forget the way he plays football. It's just about getting as many goals as possible. Like I think this might be unpopular, but I think Vlahovic would do better for Arsenal than an Olmo. Olmo is a complete footballer who links up play really well with the forwards, links up play really well with midfield, drops deep, collects the ball, has very high work rate. But would I describe him as clinical? In my opinion, no. Do I think Arsenal need a clinical forward? I would say yes.
We need two. The point was we needed two. With Dani Olmo is not enough. I agree with you. That is not enough. If we're talking just Arsenal, we would have to get Olmo and an attacker. We need a 9, bro. We need
would you take
9.
Vlahovic?
Vlahovic, I've always been a fan. I haven't really watched much of him since he's come to Juventus, but I was a fan of him at Fiorentina. But I don't know, Mo might know more than me, to be fair.
He's a scrub, bro, but he will get you goals. He's a scrub. He will get you goals.
Move him on.
Yeah, he's a robot.
Nobody likes him at Juventus. They just want to move him on. But if
they're trying to bring in,
he's not a good football player.
I'd rather
he's worse than
I'd rather
Lukaku.
Gyökeres.
He's worse than Lukaku, bro. Like you'd rather spend the money on Gyökeres.
He's worse than Lukaku.
Bro, his touch is worse than Lukaku. His ball control is way worse than Lukaku.
Gyökeres is an interesting one, Potsy, because a number of reports have suggested that Arsenal have sort of ended their interest. I can't fathom as to why, unless Gyökeres has sort of told them I'm going to another club. Like I don't understand why you would.
It's either that or we want somebody else. It's either he doesn't want to come to Arsenal or he's staying, or we don't want him. I think that's probably the latter. I keep hearing that we are after Benjamin Sesko in the summer, and I just don't understand this guy. I've tried to get my best, tried to work my head around it. I know he can get better, but he's not for me. I think Marmoush would be more interesting. There's rumors of that yesterday.
Yes,
I think that would be a much more.
What don't you like about Sesko, Pots?
Say again, bro.
What don't you like about Sesko?
I don't see it as a huge. I don't see it as a huge upgrade to Kai Havertz, bro. If I'm honest with you,
he's a project player, bro. Don, he's a project player. Arsenal should not be signing project players.
In what context, though? In what attribute are you talking about here? Because if you're talking about having a presence up top, if you're talking about someone that's actually good in the box, if you're talking about someone that can strike a ball properly, bro, right, and can actually link up play quite well, hold up defenders, he can give you all of that. It's just his age. It's just young. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's just the games I've seen him in, but I didn't see him get a kick against Celtic. They lost 3-0, bro. I thought it was
trust Don.
I see him in the international.
Why are we not talking about Osimhen?
We're heavily linked to Sesko. Watched a lot of his games, bro.
Good. He did the research. We know you did the research.
Do you know what's
Arsenal needs someone who's ready now, and he's 20 and I don't know. I just want someone who's kind of coming out.
He's definitely a better striker than Havertz, but I get what you're saying because of the age. Do you want someone that's a little bit more experienced then?
I want someone who's on fire right now. Marmoush is killing it. Victor Gyökeres is killing it. Osimhen, I wouldn't say he's killing it, but he has killed it before for Napoli.
Osimhen is the best. I think he's the best value for money right now.
Osimhen would change your fortune, bro.
I agree.
I can already picture Potsy outside the stadium on AFTV talking about, we got a proper striker. I can already envision it. 60 million. That is the best value for money you can get.
Osimhen would cook for Arsenal
because he is not worth 60 million. He's worth a lot more. He's only 62 million because of the release clause with Napoli, and that's the only time.
By the way, 60 million euros. By the way, Staffy. So it's even better.
If Arsenal don't jump on that,
I even know that.
Imagine if Arsenal don't jump on this, Dan, and Chelsea go and get him, bro. Oh, bro, Arsenal fans should go riot, bro. You should go riot, bro. Seriously, bro.
Chelsea wanted him, man. So look, I would take him. There's others that I would take over him, but that maybe I don't watch enough of Osimhen. But I hear that he's quite wasteful at times as well as he does do. But we just need a 9, man.
Who cares? Haaland has the most big chances missed in the league.
Fair. No,
that's
true.
Yeah, but this is a bad season for Haaland. Let's consider that as well.
No. Even Nobbins, can you correct me, please? The last 2 seasons when he won the Golden Boot, he still had the most big chance missed.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
that's because of how many chances City generated.
The best strikers tend to have the most big chances missed as well, because also the best strikers make their own chances. So yeah, absolutely right. Yeah,
exactly. So Osimhen would be the same thing. The only worry about it is that I don't think this Arsenal team plays in a way where they cater for the striker. I don't look at their system. I'm like, yeah, just put a clinical striker in there and he's going to score 20 plus goals. It's just because I don't think you operate that way. there would be some adjustments needed. And I still don't rate your left winger. I said it in the summer, and I still stay on that. I think you probably need a left winger more than you need a striker. But you do bring in.
You know what the solution is, Staffy, right?
I'm sorry. Oh yeah, bro. Well, listen, I'm all for it. 40
Potsy,
million.
look at the screen, Potsy. You know what's happening.
Imagine Potts at the Emirates doing this. You're telling me you're not watching that video?
I swear to God, man.
Bro,
I swear to God, that happens. I'm tapped out if that happens. I'll tell you this.
No, but
No,
on
you're
a
not.
real one, though.
You know what's gonna happen. You know what's
Osimhen would
gonna
be a
happen.
great centre for in general.
Me and Potsy are both have the same reaction to it. We both tap out. But we're for opposite reasons. I think Rashford goes to Arsenal and kills it.
No.
Scores.
No, man.
I think he kills it. I'd be so
move
scared.
outside of England. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
You wanna know the problem with you, Terry? You work with Gunnar Solskjaer too much, and he just sold you a dream, and you've been convinced by his dream.
Nothing to do with Gunnar Souls. No, it's not that. It's
Gunnar
just,
Solskjaer's the fraud.
everybody is allowed to believe what they want about Rashford. I still believe. I had the same energy for Rashford as I did for Paul Pogba, as I did for Anthony Martial. As Mo said at the beginning on the Man United segment about the club, the mentality, the culture has ruined these players. Rashford probably should have left 2 or 3 years ago, but there's no way if all those guys are victims of the club, then so is Rashford. And I've always felt that if you take so many I believe that most of the players leave and look better elsewhere. I'm not going to change that attitude for Rashford.
100%, bro. 100%, bro. Like, people just forget how talented Rashford was when he first came to the scene, guys.
It's a mentality
He's
problem.
bro, he's been ruined by that system and change of managers, guys.
No, but Mo, there's something
He
not
goes to
right
Napoli,
with him
Mo.
mentally, man.
Bro, it's the
Yeah.
toxic thing. It's what is going on at the club. The guy has been coached under so many coaches. And the fans, the pressure, the media, everything, bro.
Potsy, you must have had a mate. You're similar race to me, bro. Have you ever had that mate? He's turned into a dick, and then he breaks up with the woman he's with, and he turns out, he's fucking nice again. He's a good guy again now.
Yeah, man.
Where's he been? It's like a toxic relationship, and that isn't. People say, I think about a lot of players. Look at how much better Sancho looks outside of Manchester United since he's been at Chelsea. He was always a talented player. This is why I don't do but we shouldn't have kept him either. It was never going to work. Too much water had passed under the bridge. He had to move on. And as much as Staffy does this, I knew he was a good player. It's not. This is the problem with all these arguments. It's never been about whether they're good or bad. It's are they working at Man United or not? And that's all I really care about, as opposed to are they good or are they bad? And I just think that, listen, I don't want Rashford to go Arsenal because I think he'll do very, very well there. On Victor Osimhen, though, I think that's a really good deal. Mamouche, as you mentioned, a very good season he's having. On Benjamin Sesko, he's a player that when I watched him 2 years ago, I thought, yeah, I really like the look of him. The one criticism I would have, and he ain't scoring. Look, he's got 29 goals at Leipzig in 65 games, which is a pretty good ratio. One in every 2 games. It was always considered. Listen, you older boys all know, like the likes of Andy Cole and the like were considered very good players, scoring 1 goal every 2 games. That isn't bad. I just sort of feel that if Arsenal can find someone with a slightly better ratio, they should. Maybe someone that's. I know that you can't score one. Like you can't score 1 goal every 1 and a bit games in reality, but maybe someone who in 65 games has scored 40 goals. Just a slightly better ratio might be needed. Listen, I think for me, if I was in charge of running Arsenal and I could pick any striker that's feasible, and I agree with Husam, I think that 150 million for Isak is too much money considering what else is available. Yeah, I think Gyökeres is the guy, and I say that because I like the look of all the other players. Look, Osimhen is deadly in front of goal. I don't know as much about Mamouche. I haven't watched him enough to have a full opinion on him, so I won't include him in that because that would be disingenuous. But with Victor Gyökeres, he's got good touch. He's got good hold-up play. He can create his own goals. And when people say like creating your own goals, I don't think that necessarily means get it on the edge of the box, dribble past 2 players and bury it in the top corner, because that's quite rare. Kai Havertz misses some chances where I think a clinical top-class striker, it's a half chance. You don't have enough strikers or attackers at Arsenal that score the half chances, that score the ones where you think, oh, go and have a pop. Wow, it's gone in. Like Mo Salah does it for Liverpool. Haaland in his pomp, when he's he's still in his pomp. When Haaland's at his best, he does it regularly. An acute angle when you think, Man United, great example. Højlund's chance last night, Harry Kane's and inform Haaland's and Gyökeres's, I think they're scoring that, and certain players don't do it enough. Who was it, Larson, when he scored against Spurs the other day? I'm not saying by Larson. That goal he scored to equalise, those top strikers like the Gyökeres's, they do that 5 to 10 times a season. And that's what Arsenal kind of need, is somebody who can we just score out of nothing? As opposed to Havertz scores the good chances you create. You need someone that puts those away and gets you 10 more goals, half chances, quarter chances, or what would be considered nowadays like low XG, if that makes sense. Low XG goals is what the kids call it. So, but Gyökeres is the ticket. It's just interesting that your media briefs are saying you've. What I'm hoping, and this is pure hopium, so spam it in the comments, is that he's coming to Man United in the summer and he's already told Arsenal, so Arsenal were looking elsewhere. I really hope we go for him. Because...
Amorim is going to be at Arsenal in the summer, and then he's going to take Gyökeres.
Can you address this fantasy Photoshop, by the way, on the right-hand side of the screen? Like, because obviously that's not there for no reason, surely.
I just noticed that.
Yeah, listen, I still think Arsenal, they bid 80 million for Mihajlo Mudryk 2 years ago. They bid 80 odd million for Caicedo in the January window. I think they should be, I know you 100 mil. Bowen breaking his foot maybe changes this. I still think that Arsenal tomorrow morning should put an 85 million pound bid on the table to test the resolve of West Ham and say, we want Kudus 85 million. Because for me, a robot striker is important, but I like this guy Kudus. Out of all the players we signed from Ajax at Man United, the fact we didn't pick up him or Urian Timber still irks me to this day, right?
25 million, and we want for that bump for 75.
Crazy. And listen, Lawless, I don't think you'll do it, but I think they should try. And I'm just someone that always believes in the transfer market. You should try. I think you're better to try and fail than to not try at all. I think not trying at all is weak. And I know you don't want it to happen. And I know this will trigger you, Lawless, and I'm sorry. But Arsenal are so much bigger than you. The player's head will be turned, and Arsenal have got to try and force that point. They have to, because they could still win the league and Champions League from this point. But they have. I think they've got to add. They've got to add a player of that level. They've got to do it if they want to win those big trophies. They've got to show the standard.
Lawless is getting PTSD from the Rice thing. I can see it in his face already. Look at him. He's absolutely destroyed already.
Listen, as much as I love Kudus, yeah, they can sign him and they ain't winning the league. They weren't winning the league if Saka stayed fit. So I don't see they all rate Saka higher.
Was that the question? I don't think Terry asked you that.
No, I'm just commenting on one thing that he said. They can still win the league. Mathematically, they can. So can Forest. Forest should sign Kudus then. But the point comes down to
they got the pull.
85 mil. Let's talk about 85 million pounds. If they bid 80, that's his release clause in the summer, right? So if they bid his release clause now, right, in January, it would make no sense for us to take it. We want more now. Like you said, I agree with what you said. Try. They can try, and it will be rejected. Simple as. Because in the summer, if they want to spend the 85 mil, I'm pretty sure if you activate a release clause, you have to pay it all up front, because you can't determine, you can't activate a release clause and dictate the installments.
You can't. I don't know how it works in England. On the continent, it's different because you don't like in La Liga, for instance, you have to pay the league the release clause, and then the league then gives it to the clubs. You've got to pay it all up front. But listen, I hear what you're saying about that. I want to change something very quickly. Breaking news. Real Madrid have just put a bid in for Trent Alexander-Arnold that's been rejected by Liverpool. They've attempted to buy him in January. I don't know what that says about the new deal for Trent. If the club, they must feel confident he wants to join them because they've put the bid in, but they have put a bid in now for Trent Alexander-Arnold in January. If he isn't signing the new deal, Husam, should you get some money for him?
No, because I want us to go far in these competitions. I'm not an accountant. The money never gets spent anyway, with Fenway Sports Group. So it doesn't change my life. It's not like they're going to go sign a right back. They're just going to say Conor Bradley is the replacement. So with this Trent situation, I'm not surprised by this, to be honest with you. I've already said I think the two stay, Trent leaves. The Real Madrid call is a different call. Potts is going to have to deal with it in the summer with Saliba. It's going to happen eventually, because the Madrid call is just different. Everyone here has, obviously other than Lawless because he supports West Ham, everyone here has at some point in time seen Madrid, snap up their target or have a player that they take from your club or etc. This is normal.
They signed Julian Faubert, by the way. So they signed Julian Faubert.
Yeah, that is true. They signed Thomas Gravesen from Everton as well. Sometimes shit like this does happen. Anomaly.
I'm included in that.
Anyway, look, I not shocked by this at all. But for me, I'm focusing on the next 6 months. The 20 million or the 30 million or the 15 million that I'm going to get for Trent now is not going to change my life anyway. You know, it's not like it's going to get spent on the club anyway. We made 80 million in the summer, bought Federico Chiesa. So we're not going to spend that money back to go buy a right back or something. So yeah, I'd rather just keep him 6 months, hopefully win everything, and then off you go. And he's a Liverpool legend to me. I know Tom Little disagrees, but
Sam, can I ask you? Because I don't think you're a Trent away from winning or losing these major trophies, and that's no disrespect to Trent. I think he's a good player, but he's not Trent that's giving you about 15, 16 assists a season that he did 3, 5 years ago. He doesn't do that no more. You know, and you're saying that 30, 40 million or whatever it is that you're getting from Liverpool. I'm assuming it's 30 million. I don't know. Let's just use that number. You're saying it won't change your life. I actually do think it does, and I'll tell you why. 30 million for a homegrown player, so that's an academy product. That on the balance sheets next week for FFP and all that goes a long way. When you go next season and start recruiting new players for Arne Slot, because let's be honest, Arne Slot is doing an amazing job with a team that's not his. It's a very good team that he inherited, but it's still not his. He's going to build this squad differently over the next few years. So you're snubbing basically potential rebuild money for next summer for a player who's going to be here for 6 months, and you already agreed that you think he's going to leave on a free just because you think he's going to be the reason to help you win these titles. You don't
it's only 20 million stuff, you know, that doesn't do rebuild stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't. And also there's a thing I want to tell you. Trent is the best right back in the world right now. That's why Real Madrid want him. Just like Saliba is one of the best centre backs in the world. That's why Real Madrid want him. That's why they want Alphonso Davies. They want the best of the best.
I didn't disagree with that. I think he's very
Trent, let me tell you, I know what you're saying. The difference between us winning a league title or not, Salah, Van Dijk, Alisson, I agree they matter more. But no one can replicate what Trent does. I don't know if you watched the game against West Ham, but some of the passes that he was doing in that game were absolutely out of this world, out of this planet. And you need that because someday maybe Salah is not performing, Trent will step up. Maybe Van Dijk's not performing, Trent will step up. Vice versa. World-class players make a difference, and he's literally won us games in moments like this, which is why that matters to me more than 20 million. That's gonna go up John's ass.
Is there a price where you change your mind? Because you're saying, 20 million and we're not going to see it anyway.
To be honest with you, no, because I wouldn't sell the Premier League for any money. I want us to win.
If it's only 20, I think it would have to be, you know, far more than the 20 million they're offering. They've got some super chats here, and they've got one final question for the panel. This here says, Terry, can we do this format again? Yeah, we were meant to start doing this in the season, but we didn't get round to it. We're going to start doing this like once every couple of months when we get the whole Straight Facts crew on. What we are going to start to do is, well, it'd be hard. I wish they all lived in England because we could get everybody together in the same room, which would be amazing. But yes, we will. Repping the Leopard Nation all the way from
Tyne. This is Estonia.
Okay, thank you.
People on the stream, big up Estonians with us.
It's not uncultured. It's just if you're not great at geography, really. But thank you, Husam. We are with you, bro. Beware the cunning leopard watching from above.
Big up.
Bare pussy gets in trees. Staffy's 100% right about the type of centre forward fans are expecting. Won't do much to change our fortunes as much as a clinical winger. Kudus, Mbomo, Mamouche are the only sensible options. A centre forward needs a tactical rework.
Mamouche is a good signing, by the way.
He also says here the last thing Arsenal fans need is another robot. This team's biggest issue. I think they mean robot in terms of someone that's a clinical scorer, not someone who has no.
I meant a poacher.
Yeah.
He wants a poacher, not an all-round striker.
Yes. That's what I mean.
Anyone think Saka is going to come back at the same level? Personally worried with the history of grade 3 hamstrings not working out.
Unfortunately, most likely not. Unfortunately,
a big deal.
Yeah,
I said you're going to expect to see him a lot more out every season now than he ever did. Because it's just I watched the NBA a lot, and the number one injury in the NBA is hamstring issue.
Yeah, the
Once
other
a player gets a tear,
the manager
every couple of weeks you'll see he's out.
Before the end of the show, there's another question. I want to throw this United question. I want to throw it to Nobbins to begin with. United heavily linked in the press and confirmed that there's big interest by Fabrizio in the left fullback, wing back, left back in Kerkez. You spoke earlier about what United need to improve on. Do you think this would be an ideal, like one of the first ideal additions to the United squad to help the team moving forward?
he's definitely the right sort of profile that you should be after, because you do need an actual, left-footed, left-sided player who can actually play at left wing back rather than Dalot, who I like, by the way. But we saw England, for example, in the World Cup when we or the Euros, wherever it was recently, we tried to play Kieran Trippier at left wing back, and there's no natural width. And it's sort of like a similar thing with at United. There's like this faux width. So yeah, that's definitely one of the areas, 100%. Especially if like Luke Shaw's just like forever injured. You more wing backs in general, and then the other area would be I touched it before, like you need a proper space eating central midfielder. But yeah, that's a good start, 100%. Yeah,
I agree with Nobbins.
Thank you.
Especially, I mean, to be fair, I agree with you a lot, Nobbins. I need to start disagreeing with you. I don't like this.
No. Let's do that.
No, listen. In terms of profile and for price, I think it would make sense. I don't think United could go out and spend that much money on a lot of signings, anyways. Because number one, the money's lacking, and number two, we need a lot of players. I need to start targeting players that I don't want to call them cheap, because it's like I'm not trying to get like lower quality players. I just need to, and I think I said this last filter. I said we need opportunistic signings. We need to go get these good signings that are good value for money. So someone who needs to be moved on for whatever reason, someone whose contract is expiring, someone who's a free agent, someone, whatever it is, someone who probably doesn't play enough, but he would be good. Like Kerkez, I don't think he necessarily wants to be moved on by his club, but for the price and for what he does, if we get him somewhere around 30 million, and considering what we have in the left hand side anyways, he'd be an automatic starter. And let's be fair, he is a good player. Like he can play a little bit more defensive, he can play a little bit more attacking. We're probably still gonna need more attacking minded players, because you could see it every week when we put two fullbacks in Dalot and Mazraoui, we don't score enough goals. So it would be a little bit of a worry. He wouldn't be my ideal first option, but if we get him on a decent price, because I was looking at him on Transfer Market, reading about him. He still has a good football background, played for Milan's academy, so he's a good footballer. If we could get him for a decent price, and that means we save more money to invest in a midfielder and a left hand, then I'll go ahead and do it. He's not my first option, but I wouldn't be so against it.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I do. It's been an interesting one. Good age as well at 21. But yeah, we need so much work. It's going to take a while, really. My friend here, La Rouge and Blue, says, Terry, you said you won't sack Amorim if United are dragged into a relegation battle. Until what point would you want Amorim out? There has to be a line, right?
We are in a relegation battle.
Yeah, well, and I don't think you should go. And I do love this guy's questions, because he always tries to ask me questions so he can catch me out later. I can feel them. So I'll answer you very directly, though, because you don't need to worry about me not giving direct answers. I don't beat about the bush. For the time being, not for the time being, as long as he is sticking to building us the philosophy that the club is on board with, I'm giving him 2 to 3 years, regardless of results and trophies. My mind has changed a little bit in the last few months. We need to instill something. We need a coach to help us build the squad. So we need to buy the profiles. We need a coach to be coaching those players so that the squad is then you can decide whether or not you keep him at the end of that period. So for me, the line is literally going to be, if we stop trying to build what Amorim is accustomed to and brilliant at building, then I want him gone. Very similar with Ten Hag. As soon as I heard that Ten Hag wasn't trying to implement or wasn't going to implement the style that he was famed for, it made no sense to keep him. If I hire a plumber to come to my house, he's not doing the brickwork, he's not building the roof, he's not doing the electrics. I want him to do the plumbing and the gas. So for me, I believe that we need a complete restripping and rebuilding of the club. So as long as we are looking for the profiles for his system and the club are encouraging him to continue to create his style of football and the style of football the club wants for the now, the medium and the long term, then I'm giving him at least 2 to 3 years, my friend. It isn't about being dragged into a relegation fight. Oh, we went out of the FA Cup. Oh, we lost this game badly. It's about building up football that we can grow from in the medium to long term. That's something we haven't done in the last 11 years. We've abandoned that each time. That's why we are where we are. Loads of people can take bits of blame for that, but that is the biggest underlying reason as to we are where we are. How do we stop that? Is we have to buck the trend. We have to go through the pain. We have to go through some really painful experiences to get there. And that's what I like about Amorim, because he has told us all this was going to happen. At first, I thought he was being a little bit bashful, Turns out he was just telling the complete truth. He literally said in his first interview, there are going to be many games where we get exposed and get hurt, but we have to go through this pain to get to the other side. So I'm prepared to give him that time because I like his honesty. It's as simple as that for me. People can disagree with me. Fair enough. They can give their opinions, but that's how long I'm giving this manager.
He isn't the only manager to have said that, by the way. Mourinho, Ragnick, all these guys have said there's problems here, and everyone just laughed and said it was all them that they're toxic, it's poisonous.
Yeah.
Nah, man, they were right.
No, I absolutely agree. And this is where, like, the conversations I've had over the years about United, I do get triggered by it because I'm very sensitive about the fact that there's only a handful of us, myself and Neeks, Indiana, that doesn't really do shows anymore, Canadian Cam, KJ, and a few on other platforms. We've spoken about the underlying problems at this club forever. And most of the shows we do always end up being about sack a manager, not. Terry, you said the manager should go. Yes, but I didn't say it would fix us. Oh, you said this player was good. Yeah, I got that wrong. But really and truly, him being shit isn't the reason we're bad. Man United fans have been too focused on the aesthetics and the low-hanging fruit and never the root cause problem. We've got an opportunity here to fix it. And that is what I'm going to push us to do. Yes, I'll criticize games when we're bad. Yes, I'll celebrate games when we win. But what we shouldn't do as Man United fans is cheat the process and not ignore the root cause problems. We've ignored it for 11 years, and that is why we are where we are. Not just because of Amorim or Ten Hag or Jose or Ineos or Woodward specifically. They've all played a part, but the only way to get out of it is to buck the trend. So people may disagree, but we will see. Gents, absolutely love today's show. We're going to do this again. I think next time it's going to have to be longer. I think we have to do about 3-hour show, I think, to get more stuff in, more subjects, because there's loads of voices. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope the viewers did. The viewers seem to. Make sure you hit the like button before you leave and make sure you subscribe. This is going to redirect you to Mo and Husam's channel. They're going to go live now. But everybody have a wonderful New Year's Eve. Happy New Year to each and every single one of you. Big shout out to the panel. Go and follow, obviously, Lawless's channel, Dan Potts' channel, The 12th Man, Staffy TV. Nobbins, what's your channel called?
El Nobbins.
El Nobbins. There we go. I should know. I don't know everybody's names, everyone's channels. Go follow everybody's channels. Go and support the fan channel community. A big passion of mine. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all soon. Peace.